Hey guys, Kickassreaction here, and today we are continuing on with some more Mushoku Tensei. Yes, we are in episode 21 right now, very close to reaching the end and concluding Mushoku Tensei for a little bit. And yeah, it was a big cutoff point last time, obviously. Master, our goddess, has been found, rescued by her lover, future lover, which is Rudeus Greyrat. How appropriate that, fucking, a week after, Sylphie gets pregnant, bro finds his goddess, his mistress, and probably gains another wife before that kid is even born. Very, very funny stuff right there. We'll see, because Roxy was that was the future of her and her lover, and Rudy is already married, and having a kid on the way. That's insanity. But yeah, she's been rescued, which has been pretty fun. Unfortunately, right now, Roxy is out of mana. She's out of any kind of ability to contribute to the group. So, I don't know if we're just going to, leave again and say, Zeref can wait a little bit, let Roxy come back. Or if we're just going to keep going in the dungeon right now. I feel like probably the first option is better. Because obviously, Zenith has been here a couple of years now anyway, and, if Roxy recovers her strength and whatnot, that's probably worth the wait, because she is a king-level water mage, and having her in the party with Rudy, by far, the highest, strongest mages on the continent, most likely, that's probably worth it, if I had to assume. And the fact that Roxy wasn't very far in the labyrinth to begin with, it adds up. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what we're actually going to go for right now, what we're going to accomplish. I guess it's possible that we could save Zenith in this set, because we're only doing 2 episodes. And then, next one we'll get, the recovery, we'll get a bit of an epilogue, get our bearings, get our things all sorted out. And then in episode 24, we could, or 24, we could go home, maybe bring Roxy with us, because that's another lover at this point, Bring Paul back, and we all just, have that party that we were promised, I don't know, but we'll see. So, guys, let's get into this. We have another waifu claimed. Oh man, and Era still thinks he's waiting for her. Oh, that's gonna be quite surprising. Is Roxy gonna be pregnant as well before she comes back? And be like, Rudy, what the fuck, man? I don't know. Anyway, guys, episode 21 of Mushoku Tensei. Let's do it. Okay, we've got a, I guess we're going back in time a little bit here. We're showing how she got to that point. Because I think they said, what was it? She's been here for a month or something. Marking the territory. Hopelessly lost. You've been here many, many times.
何度繰り返しただろうか。目の前の魔法陣でたどり着く先はいつも違うのに、最終的にここに戻ってきてしまう。予感がある。きっと次はない。私はまだ何もしていない。夢だってある。私は教師になりたい。
That's your dream, huh? To be a teacher. そしてお父さんとお母さんみたいに人並みの幸せを感じてみたい。 That's cool.
私は死ぬ。
No.
夢が叶うことなく惨めに死ぬだろう。
Just think of your fantasy, your vision, whatever it was. You're in a labyrinth right now, and the love of your life will save you in this labyrinth.
死にたくない。
And there you go. Wow, okay, I thought there'd be a little more than that.
Ah, よかった。
I guess we didn't want to waste too much time. But yeah. It's been a while, hasn't it, Master? Oh my god, Rudy! That scent from those panties faded a while ago. Need a refresher.
臭いですか？違います。私がですよ。1ヶ月もこんなところにいたので。
It was a month.
俺は気にしませんよ。
私が気にするんです。いえ、そうではなく。助けていただいてあ
Does
り
she
がとう
even
ございま
recognize
す。
him?
当然のことをしたまでです。
She hasn't named him yet.
はじめまして。
No!
します。できればお名前を聞かせていただけないでしょうか。
Your goddess forgot you! Your goddess forgot you!
どこかでお会いしましたか？覚えていなくて。
Oh no. Rudy, Rudy, Rudy!
いない。
Rudeus!
覚えて。
All this time, all this devotion. That's an appropriate reaction. That was hilarious. All that time, thinking about your goddess, praying every day, and she didn't even remember you. Now, we know she did. I just assume she doesn't recognize him because it's been, you know, like... I don't even know how long it's been. Like 11 years? You know? But even still, like, damn. Bro just went through that depression all over again. That was worse than when Eris left him, you know? Because he had Roxy on the mind a long time before Eris came up. Yeah, and ironically, a lot of these people are not even relevant now, and here we go. Good old Zenith. Roxy's been discovered. I know Zenith isn't here, but this party is mostly about, like, the OG one. But I'm gonna say, with Roxy and Rudy included, it's a lot more powerful than the old one. You know, you trade in Zenith for Roxy and Rudy, that's a good trade, in my opinion. I take that. I take that. Okay.
久しぶりに会ったロクシーはあまり変わっていなかった。
She's not even changed her
ただかなり
clothes.
衰弱していたため、一度町に帰ることにした。
すみません、タルハンドさん。ご迷惑をおかけします。
いいんじゃよ、ロクシー。たまにはわしもお前を助けんとな。
臭くはないですか。ルディが吐くほどなので相当かと思いますが。
I don't think that's what happened.
ロキシー師匠に会えたことへの嬉しさと忘れられた悲しみに挟まれて。
忘れてたわけじゃないんですよ。ただ昔の可愛い
Cute little Rudy.
ルディが結びつかなかっただけです。
Fair. He's a man now.
いきなり吐いたのは失礼だったな。でも本当にショックだったのだ。
It's fair.
そういえばシルフィーも俺に初めましてと言われてショックを受けたと言ってたな。帰ったらちゃんと謝ろう。
Fair enough. Yeah, got a taste of your own medicine right there.
みんな歓喜した。原因はどうあれ嬉しいことは嬉しいのだ。ロクシーには体力の回復を待つために数日の間安静にしてもらった。
Okay. Bro.
早く良くなるといいな。
Okay. Just saying, you're a married man. I know it's gonna happen, but you are a married man right now. Let's calm down a bit.
おはようございます、ロキシー師匠。
Hey.
皆さん、この度はお手数をおかけしました。
気にしないでくださいまし。
ま、礼ならルディに言ってくれ。こいつが突然、父さん、
Nice.
って壁をぶち抜いた
The presence of God herself.
ルーデウスさん、ありがとうございました。
気にしないでください。当然のことですから。それより前みたいにルディって呼んでください。
そんな呼び方をして慣れ慣れしくはありません
Dude,
か。
he's been worshipping you his whole new life here. Like, seriously.
父さんにもルーデウさんと呼ばせますよ。
おいこらなんだそれ。
Nice.
以前のように親しみを込めて呼んでください。何年経ってもロキシー・ミグルディアは俺の尊敬する師
Yep,
匠なんで
and
す。
you literally have not changed at all. In appearance or fashion
そうで
sense.
すね、ルディ。
はい、師匠。
身長大きくなりましたね。
人族ですからね。師匠はお変わりないようで。
ちっちゃいままです。
Oh, yes.
言うほどちっちゃくはないと思いますけどね。
そうですか。
Aw.
ロキシーの体調を見ながらだが、次に探索をするのは3日後にしようと思う。
Okay.
早すぎやしないか？
ロキシーは早いうちに迷宮に入り直した方がいい。
ああ、そうか、なるほど。確かにそうだな。
Really?
師匠にはもうしばしの休養が必要なのでは。
先輩は知らねえかもしれないが、迷宮で死にそうな目にあった時にすぐに入り直さねえと、二度と迷宮に入れない呪いがかかっちまうのよ。
呪いか。おそらくこの世界のトラウマみたいなものだろう
That's fair.
な。
とりあえず次は第3階層の攻略を進める。展開次第だが最低でも第4階層への魔法陣を見つけるまでは
So
戻
that's
ろ
as
う。
far as we got.
ロキシーはこれを読んでおいてくれ。ルディが持ってきた転移迷宮の本だ。
こんなものが。
Yep.
わかりました。明日あた
As
り
we
に
know,
着読
Roxy
してお
does
きま
love
しょう。
reading and writing.
よし。じゃあ全員3日後に備えて解散。
Could he not leave your side? Has he been like this since you came back? 10 feet away at all
ル
times?
ディ、
何ですか師匠。
目の前をうろうろされると気が散ります。
Oh,
すみませんで
don't
した。
pretend like you don't like it.
暇ならこの本でいくつかわからない点があるので教えてください。
何でも聞いてください。
この部分なのですが。
He's literally been waiting for this moment for like over 15 years. No, he's
それにして
16.
もロキシーは
You know,
本
over
当に
10 years.
小さいな。膝の上に乗せればすっぽりと包めてしまいそうだ。
Oh, she would.
乗せたら怒られるんだろうな。
モンスターはどうしました師匠。
I don't know about that
いえ、
for sure.
なんでもないです。
いつの間にか背丈も随分越してしまったからな。悔しいのかもしれない。背が低いこと気にしてるみたいだし。
No, you fulfilled her dream of how she met the love of her life, and you just don't know it yet. So she's kind of sussing about you. And obviously now is a good chance to show off. Nice.
終わりだな。
Mid shit.
そろそろ魔力切れです。
Oh,
休憩をお願いします。
おう。さてそろそろ第4階層への魔法陣が見つかってほしいもんだな。
I wonder how her mana compares to Rudy's.
だからってまた壁をぶち抜かないでくれよな。崩落しちまうし。
Worth it.
分かってますよ。
ルディ、
He already found the
Hi.
ultimate
ちょっ
prize.
と背中を貸してもらっていいですか。
どうぞ。
それにしてもルディと迷宮に潜ることになるとは思ってもみませんでした。
But isn't
そう
it
です
fun?
ね。
Oh my god, she's being
Rudy.
so
何ですか？
so
ゼニスさん
awkward.
を助け出して
So
余
shy.
裕ができたら二人で迷宮に潜りませんか。
二人でですか？
はい。本来迷宮探索は面白いものです。もっと簡単な迷宮に。
She's trying to get with you, man. She's trying. She knows you're the one now.
帰ったら二人で潜りましょうか。
約束ですよ。
ええ、約束です。
Yep.
眠気がき
I
ま
like
した。
how awkward she is right now.
寝ます。
Doesn't quite know how to handle
おや
this.
すみなさい。
Has she
勢いで
ever had a
返事
boyfriend
をして
before?
しまったが、子育てとかもしないといけない俺にそんな時間があるのだろうか。
Well,
まあ
money.
余裕ができたらでいいか。
You know, you're still an adventurer to earn cash, man. At the end of the day.
ギースどうする？
まだ少し余裕があるな。
よし、じゃあ第4階層の雰囲気を確かめてから一旦戻るぞ。
仕事してる時のパウロはかっこいいな。
ルディ、敵だ。
You know what to do.
キャノンで先制します。
ルディ、いけません。アーマードウォーリアーは水神流の技を使うと聞いています。
Oh, that's bad.
うかつに魔術を放てばカウンターが飛んできます。
ではどうすれば？
足を止めて援護に徹しましょう。
了解。父さん、泥沼を使います。足元に気をつけてください。
Nice.
パウロ、私が
It's a simple solution, but
分かった。
you know,
お前はいつも
strip a warrior of their ability to move, and it's almost GG every time.
やりにくいんですのよ。
Nice.
わがままかよ。
Don't get cocky, man. Save the smug talk for
エ
after.
リナリーゼさんを援護しましょう。
了解。
勇壮なる表敬にてかの者に断罪を。アイスクレンチ。
Oh, that's sick. I don't think Rudy even has that ability. An icicle spin dash.
さすがに永久ともなるとすぐには倒せねえな。
父さんもしかして前より強くなりました？
あ？いや、そんなことはない。昔より弱いぐらいだ。さあ、油断しないで行くぞ。
I guess you never did see his prime. Oh my god. How far they've come in just like a day.
攻略は
Or a
街と
week,
洞
just
窟を行ったり来
actually
たりしなきゃ
joking
ならない。
about with each other.
でもこんなにのんびりしていてゼニスは大丈夫なのだろうか。
私は硬い相手に効く武器が必要ですわね。
いや、焦って二次遭難に遭うのは避けなければならない。慎重にだ。
So, I gotta ask this, because I'm not... It might be obvious, but I'm not sure how this is going. There aren't an unlimited number of enemies in the labyrinth, right? Like, it's not a case of if you leave it for too long, the enemies just, like, respawn, is it? Like, you can just chip away at it. You can just clear one sanctum, leave for the day, and then go into the one below it, right? Because, like, I feel like if you can just chip away at it bit by bit, this probably should have been beaten by now, right? Unless the enemies at the very bottom are that bad, but they're only at the third one. So I'd think, like, even though it's teleportating, there's still got to be a limited number of enemies down there. Unless these enemies just reproduce very, very quickly. You'd think that, like, this wouldn't be too bad. Just slowly chip away, you know, be cautious, do one sanctum at a time. Take a week to, you know, get your supplies, go back down, vice versa. Unless they are respawning constantly. I don't know. I'm just a random question I've had here. Like, I know we're going away and coming back, but is there like a limit? Is there a time limit for this, for
な
example?
んて持っているな。
スクロールを1枚作ればあとはシェラさんが書いてくれるはずですよ。
それは頼もしいですね。
Ah, she looks so excited.
アーマードウォーリアー相手なら地面に油でも撒けばいいんじゃないですか？
それではパウロさんが転んでしまいますよ。
Yeah.
あ、ルディ、タルフロの根ももらいましょう。
はい。
Nice.
エリナリーゼさん用に良さそうですね。
で、お値段は
Probably an arm and a leg.
高っ。
An arm and a leg.
同じ時期に師匠がウェンポートにいたんですか？
I know! That was sus! You're in the same
すれ違ったと
street!
気づいたのはだいぶ後でしたけどね。
家族のために師匠が創作に動いてくれて嬉しいです。
I can only imagine what the series would have been like
パウ
had
ロ
you
さん
met
たち
there.
にはとてもお世話になりましたから。魔法大学で師匠と喧嘩別れした後、仕事も行くあてもなかった私を快く受け入れてくれました。
Nice.
それに当時の私は舐められないようにと大げさに実力を吹聴していました。
師匠は当時から偉大でしたよ。
いいえ、ルディのおかげで私は身の丈を思い知ったんです。
Aw.
何せ一つ教えると工夫して10にも20にもするような弟子でしたからね。
師匠の教えの賜物です。
It's just, you know, lot of game experience back in the
魔
old
術を
life.
勉強し直して水曜級になり、性格も少し大人になったと仲間に褒められたりもしました。ですからブエナ村での2年間は私にとって大切な思
God,
い出
it's
です。
so obvious she's trying to, like, get him.
ゼニスさん、救い出しましょうね。
And after that, she'll probably propose. Nice. They actually bought it. Ah, that's cool.
この部屋で第4階層の魔法陣は最後だ。
第4階層はあっさりと突破できたが、ゼニスの姿はやはりない。
Yeah, you know by now it's like the very last one. And even if it's not, you might as well beat the place anyway.
本の通りだ。タルフロの根は使えるぜ。
よし、じゃあ戻らずこのまま行くぞ。
了解。
ガーディアン前ですわね。
この雰囲気はそうだな。
気を引き締めないといけませんね。
Have they really found nothing else in this labyrinth other than just killing monsters? Like, no treasure, no loot, anything?
これ以上攻略できてないみたいだな。
手伝います。
おう、助かる。
今まで何度も踏んできた双方向の魔法陣と酷似しているが、本によるとランダム転移するらしいんだよな。
ルディ、わかるんですか？
いえ、さっぱり。七星なら分かったかもしれませんが。
もしかしてルディの恋人ですか？
Oh my god, it's so much worse than that.
まさか。
Wow. That's the one girl he can never get, I don't
いや
think.
ダメだ。
本に書いてあることが事実なら、一つは罠なので、残り二つのどちらかが正解ということにはなりますが。
二択かよ。
二択ですのね。
二択か、まったく。
何かあるんですか？
ジンクスだよ。二択はギレーヌに選ばせなきゃ失敗するってな。
Oh.
結論を出
Is
すの
that some kind
は
of
待っ
like
てもらえませんか？
protection she has?
もう少し
Like
調
a
べてみ
luck
たいです。
stat or something?
よし、ルディ任せたぜ。
そうだ、何か引っかかるのだ。この部屋の雰囲気を見れば特別な場所なのは確かなんだが。
難儀してるな。
A little bit.
ええ、もしかするとここはこの階層の終点ではないという考えが浮かびました。実は別のルートがあるとか。
そりゃねえな。終点はここで間違いねえよ。
You never know.
今日
One of these walls could be hollow.
ま、焦ることはない。一人で答えを出そうと
Or
す
an
るなよ。
illusion, at least. You know?
はい。
Bit of Dark Souls
ああ、
experience.
それとな、ルディ。一言言いたいことがあったんだが。
何ですか？
あ、いや、これは今はいいか。宿に戻ったらにしよう。
何ですか？
Look, I know I have
そういう
two
の
two
死亡
women,
フラグって言うんですよ。
なん
but
だそりゃ。
it might not be good for
今
you.
言うとパーティーの式に関わるんだよ。
説教の類ですか？
まあな。
You're like literally following in Paul's footsteps right now.
いいか、ルディ。俺は今、二振りの剣を使っている。以前は一振りで十分だったが、今はこの二振りがないとしっくりこない。
Fair enough.
どちらも愛着があるし、役割が違う。
Really?
まあ、いずれわかるさ。
Basically, you're gonna need 3 swords one day, you know? You know?
この部屋
You've got one, you're in the middle of 2.
つい
Well,
最
actually,
近
no,
だ。
you've got 3 first. I don't know. You know? But you don't know that yet.
そして何かが足りない。そうだ、ここは転移魔法陣の遺跡に似ている。
銀さん、
あ、なんだ。
この辺りに隠し階段がないか探してみてください。
ああ、いや、あり得るのか。
Yeah. hollow.
おい、あるぜ先輩。この下に空洞が。
床を壊して問題ありませんか？
ああ、罠はね。よっしゃ先輩。
Look at that.
ここだ。
Without Rudy, you guys would have been stumped.
よし、みんな先輩が隠し階段を見つけてくれたぜ。やるな。
さすが俺の息子だった。
Hell yeah.
そういえばここ天意魔法陣の遺跡に似てますものね。
And someone's gonna knock him down.
罠があるかもしれねえ。先輩、スクロール3枚ぐらいよこしてくれよって。
You're not gonna hurt me as well, are you, Roxy?
お疲れ様ですと。
Aw, so
よ
gentle.
っしゃ、先に行くぜ。みんな気を引き締めろよ。
That's a very special circle. Magic circle to the 6th Sangstrom. Very cool. Oh, man. This is good. This is very, very good. Oh, man. I just love the awkwardness now that we have with Roxy because, like, she just doesn't know, you know? And even Paul trying to give him, like, that manly metaphor, like, you know, I had a wife and I was happy with her. But now I just don't feel right without Lilia too, you know? And the same thing is going to be for Rudy, you know? Like, he has Sylphie. He's in love with her, you know, and he's going to have a kid with her. But he's never going to feel complete without Eris or Roxy, you know? I mean, Roxy's been a thing since the very start, but Eris, like, oof, that was a thing. Years in the making. So much more time than Sylphie. And we're gonna see where that actually goes, you know? For that family you are waiting so long to bring together. Big family love. Alright. So yeah. Basically, you know, like, he's actually following in Paul's footsteps quite a bit because, you know, Paul had his time with Lilia and, you know, conceived Aisha around the time that Norn was conceived as well, you know. So Zenith was pregnant then. That went on. And obviously, thanks to Rudy directly, actually, like, he convinced Zenith to, you know, accept Lilia as, you know, as one of Paul's lovers. And, you know, now he has 2 daughters, you know, from 2 different women, and they're happy. You know, they were happy, and Zenith did learn to accept it. And I've no doubt that Sylphie will accept Roxy in her own way as well. So, you know, he's almost following the exact same footsteps. The only way he could do that even better, or the only way he could do it even more, would be to impregnate Roxy around the same time now, and then the kids come out at the same time, and then we've literally gone full circle to, you know, to having, like, half elf and half demon babies walking around. But, obviously this would probably be better, because I don't assume that would happen. I don't assume Rudy would do anything before he gets Sylphie's approval. But it's Rudy, you know? We don't know. But yes, this was a really fine episode. Like I said, most of the magic from this one just comes from us finally having a lot of time to, you know, to appreciate Roxy again, to finally have Rudy and Roxy interact after, you know, literally just one set, a single set, which was the very first one of their interaction, and obviously the dynamic between them is a lot different now. I haven't forgotten that, you know, Roxy said to Rudy back in the day, you know, in 10 years' time, if you still feel like I'm beautiful, if you still feel like confessing to me, go ahead. And not only is that, like, it'll be 11 years in the future now, but as we know, Rudy fulfilled her very fantasy of finding and meeting her love, the love of her life, you know. So obviously we've seen here that, like, it's so obvious that how awkward Roxy is about this, because I assume she's never had anyone before, so she doesn't know how to even approach, like, trying to make moments with Rudy, trying to confess to Rudy. She's being very, not tsundere, but she's just being generally shy about it in general and doesn't know how to really approach Rudy in that way. regardless of the fact that she isn't aware that he is literally a married man now and has a kid on the way, like, she just doesn't know how to do it, you know? And it's really interesting. It is really interesting to see just how that's going to go, because I would assume that, like, the confession is going to happen, you know, before we get back to you know, to Sylphie in the Magic University. I just don't know if it would happen prior to her learning about that, though, because that would, you know, that's going to be a hell of a jump, you know. It's going to be a hell of a shock to Roxy if she goes out, confesses to Rudy that she wants to be with him, and then he has to respond like, I have a wife and kid, but at the same time I kind of want to be with you as well. So, like, is he gonna reveal that, and then she's gonna ask to be, like, okay with it as being the second wife? Like, I don't know. Like, because I don't see there's no way, like, in Mushoku Tensei we see a route where he doesn't get with Roxy, right? Like, I don't see it. So I don't know what to expect from that. You know, I don't know how that's gonna go, but it's obvious, like, she's interested in him in that way, and it's pretty obvious that, you know, Rudy has had, like, his just insane viewpoint of Roxy this entire show. You know, he literally views her as a goddess. Like, she is his goddess, regardless of what happens, she is. So, like, how's he gonna take that, you know? Because, like, even he said in this one, like, he is faithful to Sylphie, he still intends to be, and he even said, like, he will go on a labyrinth, you know, adventure with Roxy solo, but he is putting his kids first, which is, you know, obviously respectable, especially for someone like Rudy, you know? But it will happen at some point, you know. You just gotta think, how is he gonna do this? How is he gonna, like, how's he gonna make this work, you know? And obviously Paul is like, I mean, Paul can't judge either way considering what happened with him, but, like, he's gonna be there to support him as well, you know, trying to give him that advice outside of, like, you know, Roxy, without directly revealing that, you know, Rudy is a taken married man at this point. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So, very interested if that's going to happen. Very interested if Roxy's going to meet Sylphie in this one, because he met Sylphie after Roxy had already left. And, you know, if that happens, I'm very curious just how that's going to be tackled, you know? But either way, though, this was a really interesting episode. As we said, pretty simple, basic stuff in terms of, like, a classic isekai adventure, you know, because a majority of Season 2 has been slow burn. It's been pretty slice of life right now. You know, with going through the motions, with Rudy just living his life, not doing too much adventure work either, but we're back to, like, the old routes of, you know, doing adventuring work, exploring, like, this massive, insane labyrinth, and also partying up with team members, and it feels very typical, you know, fantasy kind of world isekai stuff, but it does feel special because a majority of Mushoku's, you know, its focus are the characters themselves, so you really do feel more of a sense of accomplishment and more of a sense of joy when you get this kind of stuff with characters that we are familiar with characters that actually have stakes to them, you know, because, like, Paul, Rudy, Roxy, you know, Elena, Lise, like, they are characters we are emotionally invested in, and, you know, so the stakes are there. If any of them get in trouble, if any of them die, you are going to feel that, you know, so it definitely goes beyond the typical stuff of a regular, like, dungeon quest, even though we aren't exactly showing off too much of it right now, you know, because the main stuff isn't here. I assume, you know, when we get to that moment when we find Zenith, we'll get, like, our big epic battle and we'll make the whole adventure worth it, but right now we're just kind of going through the motions, you know, the enemies aren't changing, we're doing our kind of stuff, we're calculating how to do this, and of course we're actually buying, you know, gear to improve ourselves, and even, like, weaknesses, like, you know, poisons, scents, you know, we're doing everything we can to go through this safely, and, you know, it's just kind of run the mill right now, you know, with Rudy and his book from Nanahoshi. This is unironically, like, a pretty easy dungeon now because of how much information she has on the teleportation circles. This has basically been a complete breeze, so I'm really curious that when we get to the Guardian, as I believe Paul called it, you know, we'll see just how dangerous it's going to be. But yeah, this has been really fun. I'm really enjoying this so far. Like I said, I'm curious what we're going to do in the next episode. Presumably we'll get Zenith Bout, and then, you know, with how this episode goes, I assume that's where we'll go with this, and then we'll get our, like, our epilogue stuff in the next ones, you know, with all the relationship drama we're going to get. But yeah, so guys, that's going to do it for this, and I'm going to make my cut and come back. We'll do episode 22, so I'll see you in a moment. Alright guys, we are back with episode 22. Let's do this.
この先 いるな。
どうするパウロ？まだ余裕はあるが、一旦戻るってのも手だぜ。
Nah,
いや、
we got this.
それぞれの装備の確認をしよう。
了解。
ルディ、私のスクロール何個か持っておきますか？
そうです
I
ね
don't think they've really shown off what the
呪術をいくつか。
scrolls actually do
はい。
too much in this
あり
show.
がとうございます。
I think they've gone over it, but we
どん
don't
な
see it
ガー
very
ドがいるの
often.
かはわかりませんが、こちらの戦力は十分です。ルディがそのスクロールを使うことのないよう全力で援護します。
Very nice.
お願いします。どうにも俺はビビり癖があるので。
はい、背中任せてください。
Oh, how is this gonna end, I wonder?
よし。全員準備はいいか？ルディ、
何でしょうか？
この状況でこんなことを言うのも悪いと思うんだがな。
じゃあ言わないでください。
おう。
決戦前に大事なことを言わせるもんじゃ
Fair,
ない。
that will distract.
そういうのは帰ってからでいいのだ。
Be a foolish thing to just, you know, have a big distraction like that in the middle of a fight. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna skip the intro this time because, you know, don't really need it. You know, I've seen this, seen that many times now. Alright. Let's do this. Definitely is giving vibes of a boss room. Lots of open space to move around in. Plentiful for a full party of people. And there's a hydra.
初めて見たぜ。
I'm guessing they're a big deal in this world. And there's the end prize. What the fuck is she in a crystal for?
なぜあんなところに。
Oh my god. Emotions, man. You're acting on impulse.
静かなる標準の拳、アイシケルブレイク、ストーンキャノン。
Magic resistant. Oh my god, it has magic resistance on top of everything else. That is so sus. Don't you know Hydras want my man cut off one head, you'll get two more. This is like Rudy's first true dungeon fight in a in this world. Good lord.
せせらぎの濁流よ、フロードフラッシュ。
Nice. Oh my god, okay, it's not just... Okay, yeah. Any type of magic.
あの甲高い音が響くと魔術が無効化される。どうする？続行か？一旦逃げるか？俺は何をすべき
Is
だ？
the crystal Zenith's inner overpowering that?
治っています。撤退しましょう。
I don't think we can retreat at this point. Wow. You're being an idiot, man. You're not cooperating at all. We need coordination in a battle like this, and you're just going in guns a-blazing. Oh, I guess swords are blazing at this point.
魔法陣に。
Yep. I'm surprised you even got out of there, to be honest. So what now?
力を失いしかの者に再び立ち上がる力を与え、ヒーリング。大丈夫ですか？
かすっただけです。
That was a little more than a scratch.
父さん。
あれはゼニスだ。間違いない。
ちょっと落ち着いてく
What
だ
the
さい。
hell happened to her? Why is she in a crystal? And why is a hydra, like, guarding her?
母さんは
What?
ここ
Like,
で生きているんでしょうか。
ああ、生きてるかどうかなんて関係ねえだろが。
it makes a big difference, my guy.
そうですね。
やめろ、喧嘩は。ルディ、あそこにゼニスがいたんだぞ。お前の母さんが。なんでそんなに落ち着いていられる？
取り乱して何かが解決するんですか？
そうは言ってねえ。
確かに冷静すぎるかも
You're
しれ
being
ない。
too irrational, man.
でもゼニスとはあまりに接点がなかった。
It is fair.
母親というより一緒に暮らしていた他人。
Damn.
7歳の時に別れ
That
て
is a shame, but
10年
honestly, the
近く会ってない。
circumstances make sense.
とりあえず現状の整理をしましょう。あのガーディアンには魔術が効かなかった。凄まじい再生能力。触れただけでエリナリーゼさんの防
But
御を突破でき
maybe
る
there's
ほ
a
どの
source
攻
of
撃。
that shield that blocks
石の
it.
中に閉じ込められている母さんは生きているかどうかもわから
Again,
ない。
is it the crystal itself
そ
that,
んなことは俺だって分か
that
って
does
んだ
that,
よ。
or is it genuinely an ability it
母親を見
has?
つけた時の態度がそれかって言ってんだ。やめろ。親子喧嘩は宿に戻った時にやれ。ふざけやがって。
喧嘩はそこまで話し合いをしますわよ。
Come on, man, you gotta stop the attitude right now, otherwise, like, we'll be here all day and all night.
大丈夫ですよ。
そうですか。
パウロとこんな風になるのは初めてじゃない。
That's actually the
今
calmest
回は
squabble you've ever had, to be
ちょっと歯
honest.
車が狂っただけだ。
No fists were actually
あの
exchanged.
ゼニスさんの結晶化ですが、なんとかできると思います。
本当か？
私も今のゼニスと似たようなことになった人物を知っていますけど、ちゃんと今も生きていますわ。問題は例のガーディアン。私も初めて見る種類ですわ。
見りゃヒュドラってのはわかるが、あんな鱗を持ってる種なんて聞いたことねえ。
Come on, Rudy. We've got to have some Dark Souls knowledge or something to beat an impossible
マ
adversary.
ナタイトヒュドラです。本で読んだことがあります。
So
鱗
what?
を持ってる種なんて聞いたことねえ。
しかも再生までしよった。
あれはおそらくマナタイトヒュドラで
A
す。
Manatite Hydra.
本で読んだことがあります。全身が魔力を吸収する鱗で覆われた
That's
悪魔
bad.
の竜。
Oh, that's bad.
てっきりおとぎ話
But
だ
if
と
you
思ってい
beat
ま
that
したが
thing and can take the
実在していたと
scales,
は。
you are gonna be
魔
beyond
力を
OP.
吸収ってことは
Maybe
俺
make
たちは
some,
奴にダメージを与えられないということ
maybe
で
make
すか？
some clothes out of that.
本に書いてあったことが本当ならゼロ距離で打ち込めば通用するはずです。
しかしダメージを与えたところで再生しよる。
厄介ですわね。
ヒュドラの首は火で炙れば再生しないと聞いたことがあります。
Cool.
ギリシャ神話の英雄ヘラクレスの話だ。
Ah, fair enough.
ヒ
Bring
ュド
in
ラを
some
切った
Greek
後
knowledge.
切り口を松明で炙ると再生を阻止することができたらしい。所詮は神話。信憑性は薄いが。
I hope this Hydra isn't that as powerful as that one.
傷を焼くか。
傷口なら鱗で魔術が弾かれる可能性も低いです。
試してみる価値はあるか。よし、じゃあそれで行ってみるか。おいパウロ、それでいいな。ああ、気のねえ返事だな。分かってんのか？あいつの首を切れるのはお前しかいねえんだぞ。
パウロが首を落とし俺が即座に焼く。場合によっては俺も危険な立ち位置になる。
But it's the best plan you got. If he can just control himself in those moments,
エリナリーゼ、タル
he
ハ
can
ン
do
ド、
this.
ギス、それにロキシー。お前らには今まで世話をかけた。本当に考えられないぐらいすげえ尽力をしてもらったと思ってる。けどそれもこれで終わりだ。ゼニスを助けるか、仮に助けられなくても俺の家族はみんな
That
見つ
is
かっ
that is good.
た。これで最後なんだ。力を貸してくれ。
かしこまるなんてあなたらしくありませんわ。
ここまで来て力を貸さんアホはおらんわい。
パウロもずい
You
ぶ
know-
んと丸くなっちまったな。
It's a shame I'm saying this, it really is. But I'm getting death flags from Paul, honestly. I'm getting some hella death flags right now, you know. Like, this is his life's purpose for, like, 10 years. As we know, he's been looking for his family the entire time. Finds the very last member of that family. This is the biggest battle we've had in the show thus far, with everyone, party members, new and old. And he's acted on impulse in these fights, you know. And he even has something to say to Rudy that he knocked off saying. You know, it's not looking good. It's not looking good right now, honestly. But I mean, if we can get through it, you know, if we can get out of this without a sitch, that'd be good. I'd be okay with that.
Rudy, お前は本当に頼りになる息子だ。
そういうお世辞はヒュドラを倒した後にしましょう。
Yeah.
お世辞じゃねえ。本当にそう思ってる。俺はお前みたいに冷静にもなれねえ。アイディアも出せねえ。がむしゃらに突っ込むことしか考えてなかった。
It's kind of a requirement for a mage to keep a cool head like that.
息子のお手本にはなれそうもねえ。それを分かった上で言わせてもらう。親の言うべきことじゃねえとは思ってるけどな。いいか。
はい。
死んでも母さんを助けろ。
Damn.
はい。
Interesting.
行くぞ。
確かに親の言うべきことではない。しかしそれはパウロの覚悟であり。
Let's see if we can get this done then.
なら俺はそれに応える。
Slice some heads, sizzle the remains, and we
その
win.
目的のためにパウロと意志を共にするのだ。
It really does reset like an RPG boss.
よし、行くぜ。
You guys again? What the hell, man? Okay, didn't see him doing that before. But that's good to show which one he'll slice off when. Fuck.
やはり接近してぶち込むしかないか。
予定通りですね。いけますか？
I can try. Like father, like son, we're doing this together as a unit, my man. And as we've seen, Paul is being level-headed this time. Get out of the way, Paul. I'm assuming that did it. Nice. Alright. That should be a relatively easy win now. But like Roxy and the other guy in the back aren't even doing much right now. Ooh, ooh. Nice. Okay, the healers, that makes sense. Alright, so 5 heads left. Damn. Surprised we're even going for Roxy and Thailand, because like they're not even threats right now. They're just in the background. Fireball! 2 and 1. Good job. Yeah, I'm pretty sure at least Roxy outdoes Rudy when it comes to healing magic. What the fuck? It's biting off the sizzle so it can regenerate. Yep. Alright, so we gotta do this much quicker now. Nice thinking! Nice! I didn't even consider that, yeah! Trap it! Oh! Okay. I don't think we've ever seen Roxy use different magic before besides water and healing. Good to see. Let's go! Is it a water barrier or is it an attack? Okay, it's a water barrier. More power! Roxy, you want to jump in? Anytime now. Good job. Little snag right there, but it's still going well. The more heads you take off, the longer it would take to heal as well. How many left? Don't get overconfident. God damn! Why are you slouching, Rudy? Good lord. Nice, though. Respect on that attack. But where's Paul? Where is Paul? You know, he pushed him out of the way very aggressively. You're not showing him. Show him? Like, come on, you're giving me death flags right now. Show him. Where is he? Looks like you took some damage. You're bleeding. Oh, that's much, much worse. He lost his fucking arm in that? Jesus Christ. Can you regenerate that? Not fully. So that's the price of this, you lost an arm. But it is possible by that wording to regenerate the arm. He died, didn't he? You didn't show him after that moment. You fucking bastards. You actually did that, didn't you? I said he was giving off like death flags and you did it. That's much worse than I thought. Oh my god, he fucking tore in half. God damn. Oh, and he's already dead. That's so much worse. No, he's not. And the last thing he'll ever see is his son. Jesus Christ! We still have, like, so many minutes left of the episode! What the fuck?! And it's the most somber ending you could... Oh my... Yeah. You can't... I guess you can't heal being fucking torn in half. And this is gonna be hella... This is gonna be massive hits for Rudy because he will save in him doing that. This is the most you could do, honestly. Just a silent. Jesus Christ. Oh, I really thought we weren't going to see anything else there. And Lily, I didn't even think of Lily. Oh, Aisha and Norn. Aisha and Norn. Oh, they're never going to see their dad again. Oh, God. Especially Norn, who had a deeper connection with him. And who told Rudy to come. Oh, fuck. This music is appropriate. Honestly, it's not that surprising. I honestly forgot for a moment that he even lost his arm. Jesus Christ. They really didn't bring back any of his body, huh? Oh. Spoke too soon there. Alright, they gave him a burial at the site. Oh god, stop it. You're gonna make me cry. Like, it's happened already, but you're gonna make me cry if you keep going with this. This is the most lukewarm victory we've, like, ever had. I think you just triggered, like, an ancient chant right there or something. It's called the Ultimate Jinx. Is she, like, mentally fucked as well? Does she not... Do you not remember him? Can you even speak? Oh my god! Like, wow, they actually fucking showed that with Rudy's face. That was insane. Alright, so not only did we, like, fuck that up, we had a massive loss in this series, but apparently Zenith is mentally screwed as well. I'm assuming she has, like, the most ultimate amnesia, because it seems like she can't even speak right now. And she didn't seem, like, happy or, you know, give any signs of familiarity to anyone in the room. You know, like, Rudy, not recognizing Rudy at glance is one thing, but Lilia, too, who's, like, not changed at all since, like, she last saw her. Jesus Christ! I really hate to say it. I really do, but I saw this coming. They were giving hella death flags in this episode about Paul. Like, genuinely. God. You know the most terrifying thought about this now? This is like a common thread of Mushoku Tensei now. Parents do not survive. Like, Sylphie's parents might as well be dead because we haven't seen them, we haven't found them, or anything in the Magic Catalysm. Eris's parents were killed, as we know. Even her granddad was killed. And now there's this. Now there's this, where Paul Grey Rat is dead. So what is this gonna mean for for our fucking main characters who are becoming parents now? What is this going to mean for Rudy, for Sylphie? You know, like, what is this going to mean for them? Like, they're going to become parents, and the common theme in Mushoku is that parents don't fucking survive. Dude, if Sylphie dies, like, soon, Jesus Christ, that would be fucked. Honestly, that would be fucked. Or like Rudy, like he got away with like an arm, literally an arm, but like they kind of teased that could be healed if he had a better healer on him. So like maybe Sylphie or even Roxy can do something about that, but he doesn't want it right now. But like, gee, like, am I gonna need to be more worried going forward right now? Like I'm saying, like this guy will probably have a big family at some point. Yeah, not if he follows the trend of Mushoku, which is parents don't live, you know? So this is one of the biggest developments Mushoku have had right now. I'm shocked that you didn't just call this like Turning Point 4. Honestly, I'm shocked you didn't just call it that, and we have like 2 turning points back to back, because, yeah, this is a big moment. Unfortunately, Paul Greyrat, who was really starting to grow as a character, you know, and becoming like, starting to grow on me, like, didn't get to see it, you know, and in terms of like episode count, he's barely even in Mushoku Tensei at all, but like, you really got to feel it, man, because he was really going on an arc of redemption, you know. We've gone through the kind of person Paul was. We've seen the kind of actions that he's taken, you know, and we've even heard about some of the very, very bad things he's done in his past. But he was improving, you know. Ironically, this magic catalysm was really helping him improve and grow as a person in certain regards, because, yeah, it basically broke him down to his very core. The whole magic catalysm stuff, you know, it broke him down, it left him with one child, but ironically from that, he was rebuilding himself, he was growing from the darkest points in his life, and he was growing to be a better person from this, and if he did survive this, you know, genuinely, he could have been, you know, there were many, like, moments here, you know, a good future was literally there for him. All of his goals in life at this point, which had been dedicated to fixing the magic catalysm, finding his family, discovering that he's going to have new family, you know, not only did he find Zenith, but he specifically, I think Rudy told him that, yeah, he's going to have a kid of his own, and he's going to be a granddad at some point, you know. He had a future to look forward to at this point, and that's the moment where you rip it from him. That's the moment where you steal it all, you know. And not only is this, like, the moment where, like, this is the biggest hit the characters have taken, this was Rudy's fault. This was Rudy hesitating for a slight moment. I know it's not technically his, you know, he didn't do this on purpose, but he grew confident, a little too confident in the battle for just 1 second. And that 1 second was literally all it took for Paul to push him out of the way and take the inevitable plunge that he saw coming. And that is going to be on Rudy's conscience forever now. You know, there's no way of undoing that. There's no way of, you know, taking that back, of redeeming, of saving Paul now. That's always going to be on Rudy. And, you know, maybe he won't even, you know, maybe he won't even, like, keep his arm. Maybe he won't try to take it back. Maybe he'll keep it as a reminder of what he lost and why he should never, like, lose his focus again. Because, like, yeah, that, you know, again, I don't want to say it, but that is kind of his fault. So, I don't know, you know, that's genuinely just fuck to think about, but it is kind of true. It's a big shame, you know, because, like, Mushoku does tend to build on things, you know, I promise these certain aspects and then just rip them from you, you know. The biggest one, I think, of the show before this was Eris, obviously, you know, where, like, Rudy and Eris were about to get together. You were about to see, like, the payoff of their relationship grow from season 1, and then at the end of episode 20, I think it was 22, she leaves, and, you know, that storyline is just put on hold. Now, to be fair, the Eris angle is something we do know will come back at some point, very differently to what we have now, but it's still something we were building to, and we just snapped right in the butt, you know, before we got to see it. And this as well, like, Paul as a character, I'm sure many people were really interested in actually coming back. You know, like, we've been waiting for the family of the Grey Rats to reunite all this time. You know, Paul was in, like, Rudy's vision. When Rudy is imagining the perfect family that he has, like, you know, new and old, Paul is in there, you know, Paul, Zenith, and Lilia smiling, you know, looking down on their children, you know, about to be grandchildren, like, they were happy, and that was Rudy's ideal. And now, one of those members has been permanently lost. And as we said, like, Rudy wasn't the biggest fan of Paul. You know, they butted heads, they fought, and obviously even Rudy can admit he was a scumbag in a lot of areas, but he did care about him. He did have a sense of, you know, affection for Paul, you know, enough to be in his future fantasy, but, like, that's gone now. Like, I know he doesn't have the kind of relationship with Paul that, like, a child of his should be because of, you know, his reincarnated stuff, but he had a bigger relationship with him than Zenith. He had a bigger relationship with him than Lilia, you know, so, like, outside of, like, what he's built since the Magic Catalysm, he was, like, the biggest sense of, you know, family he had. And again, it's gone. And even Paul, like, tried to comfort Rudy the way he could, where, like, you know, smiling at him. The last thing he ever saw was his son, you know, and he gave him that reassuring smile that, like, it's okay. Now, obviously, that could just be for Rudy, but it could also be the fact that Paul knew that he won in the end, you know, in a sense that, like, Paul did die peacefully, because although he knows he's not going to see the next day, he knew that they won, and he knew that Zenith and his family, even if it wasn't with him, would be completed now, you know, and that allowed him to go without regret, I guess, as if making up for his failures in the past. But oh man, this is going to be interesting. I can't believe we only have 2 episodes to go, because this is something you build for a while, you know? This is definitely something that we're going to build for a while, and like, oh, we have people to tell this to, you know? We have children to tell this to. Norn, Aisha, they're never going to see their dad again, you know? Norn even specifically told Rudy to come here. Is she going to blame herself for that? Is she going to blame Rudy for that, you know? Is she going to blame both of them? Aisha, you know, like, Rudy promised to bring everyone back okay, you know, and all we did in the end was we traded one parent for another. And that's never something you should ever want to do, you know? So that's going to be big, you know? Like, this is, oh man. Mushoku really does show the life challenges that Rudy is going through, you know? Every step that he's at his peak, there is something to challenge him going forward, you know? He gets with Eris, she leaves, he's in a sledge, you know? He finds, you know, and he finds Sylphie, he settles down with her, is about to have a child, he goes to find Zenith, gone. Paul is gone. Someone that he deeply respects and cares for is gone. But given the fact that, like, you know, the implication that he could have misinterpreted Eris's words is something he's thinking about now, there is no misinterpretation of this. This was his fault. However much he didn't mean to do it, he got sloppy for one moment and it cost a life. And we're going to see all the effects of that in the next episode. You know? I guess this is probably, like, what the... Is this what the god meant? Is this what the man god meant? That, like, if he went here... But then again, it's like... Rudy is the one that suggested beating the Hydra this way. So, like, is there a way that they, like, could have won this without Rudy? You know, because, like, he said, like, you know, you would be happy or sad either way doing this. Like, I guess this is what he was referring to. Like, you would live with regret if you went here. It's because he directly ended Paul. But, like, what would be the, like, how would they win this without Rudy, you know? Like, they wouldn't have found Roxy. She would have died. Factually, there's no way of getting out of that. But would Paul have lived? Is that the way? Like, Rudy basically exchanged lives in this mission. He saved Roxy, but he killed Paul as a result? And would they have somehow beat the Hydra without Rudy and Roxy? Like, there's no way. There's no way, because both of them had the knowledge to beat the Hydra. I don't know. God, that's sus to think about. That really is, like, I don't see a method they would have won this without Rudy and Roxy being here. But, like, without them, like, was this always inevitable? Was Paul's fate sealed the moment, like, they ever entered this labyrinth to begin with? I don't know. God. I don't think I've spoken enough about this episode because, like, yeah, this was definitely the most action-packed episode of Mushoku Tensei we've had. Like, outside of Orsted, this is the biggest threat we've had to beat in the sense that we actually beat this one. And Orsted still seems like an unstoppable dragon force. But, like... God. the most somber ending, and I feel like they captured that beautifully with just a wordless ending and near wordless like outro as well, with like all they had was like Lilia saying that he looks tired, you know. God, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? We're gonna find out soon, though, guys. That's it for this episode of Mushoku Tensei. Pretty much the absolute, in the meaning of bittersweet ending, for sure. 2 episodes to go of the season, and then that's it. I don't have any more to watch at that point. So I'm going to be cut much like you guys. And yeah, we're going to see where that goes. So guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Mushoku Tensei. And this set of Mushoku Tensei. And I will see you guys next time. Hey guys, Kickassreaction here, and we are back with the final set of Mushoku Tensei for the time being. We are here with episodes 23 and 24. And to my knowledge, there is no OVA, or I don't know if there's an upcoming OVA or something like that. Did Eris the Goblin Slayer come around the same time as the Season 1 finale? Not quite sure. But for now, we are in the end-all be-all of Mushoku Tensei, the anime. And we're in a big pit of despair right now. We saved Zenith last time, but at the cost of Daddy, at the cost of Paul Greyrat, a man who was on his path to redemption, you know, much like Rudy. There are some parallels between Rudy as a character before his life of being Rudy Greyrat, and of course the life of Paul. Both very much, you know, were in pits of despair for a long time. Both felt like they failed as family men, and, you know, especially in Paul's case as a father. And both were basically on the path of redemption. Rudy, since his entire birth in this world, and Paul, throughout the Magic Catalysm, was kind of redeeming himself for the mistakes that he made along the way, both before that and at that, and in that time, you know, during the attack, or during the disaster, of course. And unfortunately, you know, Paul died. He paid the ultimate price to save his son, but at the very least, it does seem like he did die at least somewhat peacefully. Or peace with himself, I should say. And yeah, we are in the aftermath of that now. We're in the aftermath of the Labyrinth raid. You know, we've got a lot of people to share this knowledge with. You know, Sylphie, who probably had a close connection to Paul, seeing that they did actually, you know, she seemed to be quite familiar and quite close to the Greyrat family as a whole, not just Rudy, but she seemed to be decently close to both Zenith, Lilia, and Paul as well. You know, seeing as she was within the house with them when the magic teleportation stuff happened to begin with, that implies she goes around there a lot, and you know, this is gonna hit her quite a lot as well. On top of the siblings, you know, like, oof, you know, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna see how, you know. Presumably in this episode we're going to get the big despair moments with everyone sharing the news. You know, obviously there's probably going to be a lot of words exchanged, you know. Norn and Aisha, I don't even know how they're going to react to that. The fact that, you know, Rudy promised to bring Zenith home but lost Paul, like, is that going to be something that they're going to blame him personally for? Norn is probably more likely to do that than Aisha, but that also makes it worse because she literally told him to go. You know, on top of the fact that, like, he's lost his arm now. Can't forget that. He has lost his arm. Is that a permanent end to his arm, or can it regenerate, you know, if enough time has passed? I don't know. But we're in the aftermath now, and we're going to see truly just what is going to happen. And I presume, much like last time, much like Season 1's finale, we'll see Rudy and potentially everyone else taking a step forward to the future with a lot more optimism. But we'll see, you know. There's a lot more characters that are going to be suffering in this one, as opposed to Season 1 when it was solely Rudy. So, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, anyway, guys. This is hype. This is big hype. You know, obviously, like, current situations aside, I am unironically very happy and very excited to see the end of Mushoku Tensei. This has been one of the, honestly, one of the best anime I think I've done on the channel, you know. And we still have a lot more to go. At least in terms of the anime content, I assume. So yeah. Anyway, episode 23 of Mushoku Tensei. Let's do it. And what on earth again? Another flashback. No matter how many times you see him.
俺を心配してい
It
たのだ
never
ろう。
stops getting surprising.
彼らが死ぬ間際、俺のことをどう思っていたのだろうか。真実はわからない。そして俺は葬式にも出ず、両親の骨も拾わず、
That is
何
horrible.
をしていたのだろうか。
Yeah.
あの時の俺は悲しいと思うほど両親を愛してなかった。でもせめて葬式ぐらいは出ておけばよかったんじゃないか。
Yes, that would have been
死
nice.
に顔ぐらい見ておけばよかったんじゃないか。
So parents, just no matter what life you lived, were just a bad spot for you. That's something you never really did make right in this world.
かばうんなら俺みたいなまがいものじゃなくてモルンとアイシャだろ。ゼニスにリーリャもいるじゃないか。
True.
4人も置き去りにしてどうすんだよ。お前の一番大切な相手じゃないか。
As much as you don't want to admit it, though, you are among them who mattered.
教えてくれよ。
You're a grey rat. You're his son.
お前は本当に頼りになる息子だ。
俺は自分がパウロの子供じゃないと思っていたのに、パウロは俺の父親だったんだ。
Oh, oh, oh God. No matter what life you live, man, you can't live without regret, and unfortunately, this is a big regret you're stuck with.
ルディ、いいですか？
Jesus.
師匠。
This really is like
気分転換に
season 1 finale now.
ほら、この街はまだまだ面白そう
But
なも
only
の
this
があ
time
り
you're
ま
not
すし、
alone during
先
it.
日のようにまた一緒に見て回りませんか？
いいえ、そんな気分では。
It's bad when he's rejecting time with his
そう
master.
ですか。
すいません。
Oh. Oh, she actually seemed kind of determined right there.
失礼します。
The face wasn't laced with sympathy.
パウロさんとゼニスさんのことは残念でした。私もブエナ村で一緒に暮らしていた時の
That
ことは
labyrinth
よ
will
く覚えてい
forever
ます。
haunt you
私にとって
for the
一
rest
番
of your
幸
life
せな
and
時期だっ
maybe
た
even
か
the
も
next
しれま
one.
せん。冒険者をしていると身近な人が死ぬことは珍しいことではありません。辛さはわかります。私も経験がありますので。
But it was
嘘つか
family
ないでくださいよ。
this time.
師匠は父さんも母さんも元気じゃないですか。
The only parents in the show that are fine.
最後
And they're not even part of the
数年
story.
前ですが、どちらも元気。
じゃあわかんないですよ。軽々しくわかんない。
Jesus Christ! You know it's bad when he's yelling at her of all people.
やり直した気になって、うまくやれている気になって。でも大切な部分からは目を背けていたことに。
Yep.
家族との確執から目を背けて、また取り返しのつかない失敗を繰り返して。変われたと思っていた。でも結局何も変わっていなかったんだ。
ブエナ村での生活は本当に幸せでした。ルディはとても才能にあふれていましたし、パウロさんもゼニスさんも
Yep.
温かく接してくれました。
So even though this isn't quite the same, it's
私に
still a
家
big
族の
hit for you
温
as
かみを
well.
教えてくれたんです。私にとってパウロさんたちは第二の家族です。
Yikes.
だからあなたと悲しみを分かち合いたいんです、ルディ。
The arm thing is definitely
私は
something to
小
keep
さ
in
くて
mind.
至らない師匠ですが、ルディよりも長く生きている分だけ感情です。持たれてくださっても構いません。
Yeah, you haven't.
辛いことでも
It's close though.
二人で
It's
分ければ
actually
き
close.
っと薄くなります。ルディ、
She is not gonna let you go, man. Oh, good lord. They're gonna fuck, aren't they? They're actually gonna fuck. Oh my god! I was only half joking. Oh, good lord. Dude, this is almost the exact same scenario as fucking Eris in Season 1. Oh my god. Literally, fucking out the despair. Like, that's literally the same thing. Clothes are off. And the girl's still there. Alright, now. Sure, there are probably some people who, for some reason, watched Mushoku Tensei and didn't think this was going to happen. You know? Things to keep in mind right now. Roxy does not know he's married. She does not know Sylphie's in the picture, and she doesn't know he's got a kid on the way. That's just to keep in mind, you know? So if you want to fully blame Roxy, no. That's bad. Secondly, she is intending to be his lover, obviously, because, like, that was how she's destined to see her lover. Two, you know, I forgot my second point. Fuck. Like I said, this is basically the same contrast as, like, Eris and, in the first season, where, like, you know, Eris basically made the moves and manipulated him because, like, she was in despair that her family left, you know, and then they fucked. This is basically the same thing. Like, Roxy is, in her own way, you know, not intentionally, but she is manipulating Rudy, you know, while he's at his absolute lowest point, to have sex and obviously make a move on him. But it is, in her own way, genuinely how she sees Rudy, because she knows he is a pervert. She knows that's kind of how you get to him, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's not the exact same scenario, but it's very, very similar to the Eris one, you know, which is very interesting in this case. And two, you know, Rudy did cheat on his wife. He cheated on his wife, you know, but the show's made it a point not to really treat Rudy as you would your own moral compass, obviously. Two, I don't feel like Sylphie would be too upset about this. Because what I feel like is that, what we got to keep in mind as well, is that Sylphie has lived around Paul and Zenith for a long time. And she knows, you know, she grew up knowing that Paul had Lilia as his second lover. So even though, like, she is his wife and he is kind of claimed, I don't feel like she'd be too upset because she has lived around this this kind of situation throughout her life. You know, she knows that, like, his daddy did this, and so she might accept Roxy for that reason, you know. If it was anyone else, you know, and she hadn't lived around Rudy for a long time, or the Grey Rats in general, she probably would be more disgusted. But I feel like she's gonna accept this because, again, she grew up seeing Paul and, you know, Lilia and Zenith be together like that. So I don't feel like she'd see a second wife as a big problem. Eris, though, we'll see. A third one, he might be pushing his luck there, but we'll see. Obviously, this is a bad situation because Rudy, I feel like, is the most in the wrong here, and I know people are going to be pissed off either way. But that's just my thought on this. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses, but I'm trying to go off of the info we get on the story right now, you know? And obviously, like, outside of everything else, Rudy just had sex with his master. And we've literally seen in the show, like, people have gone to lengths beyond, like, just comprehension to get with Roxy. And he actually claimed her. Like, goddamn. But now is he gonna feel like shit for what he did, you know? The fact that he didn't have Sylphie's approval means this can't be as good as he always envisioned it. Because, like, you know, he cheated on his wife. Like, father like son. Was that good? Especially with Roxy dominating, like, was that good? But he still looks the exact same. By the way, I'm married and I have a kid on the way. I probably should have brought that up earlier.
ルディにはそれを望んでいるはずです。前を向いてください。みんな待っていますから。
True. You lost one, but there are so many still counting on you. Like I said, the worst is still to come. Because you have to bring this news to a lot of people. Not to mention, now you have to bring that news, and you have to bring the news about Roxy now. Oh, that's, somehow you make this worse going home. Good lord. I bet she heard you.
Roxy, あなた。
Did you fuck a married man?
ルディ、申し訳ありませんが、私はエリナリーゼさんと話があるので、
You fucked a married
リーゼさんのところ
man,
に
didn't
は
you?
一人で行ってください。
わかりました。
Or were they that quiet that she couldn't hear? Oh my god, is she just dead? Is she brain dead right now?
リーリャさ
ん。何でしょうか、ルーデウス様。
すみません。母さんの世話を押し付けてしまって。
いいえ、これが私の仕事です。
True.
母さんの様子はどうですか？
記憶はないようですが、不思議と体の方は健康です。変な後遺症もありません。
Did her body just straight up not age or change at all in that crystal?
ということは、記憶を失っているだけで、精神が完全に死んだわけではないのか。
That's fair.
シェラさんの見立てでは、魔力結晶に閉じ込められたことによる魔力的な弊害だろうと。
Oh, that's bad.
治るんでしょうか？
エリナ・リーゼ様の話によると、無理とのことです。私は奥様にはよくしていただきました。
It is kind of hard to tell because Mushoku doesn't really emphasize the age of the characters. Like outside of
できることはするつもりです。
like outside of like the kids, I guess the younger cast that we've seen grow up, like obviously like Sylphie, Rudy, Eris, you know, like the younger characters, right? Like the characters that were adults at the start of the show, we don't really emphasize their physical age very much. So I don't know if the crystal straight up just locked Zenith's like physical age to a standstill. I mean, we've literally got a character in the show that's locked in age, like literally Nanahoshi. But you know, like characters like Paul, you know, he looked different from the stress, but he didn't look much older. Lilia doesn't look older either. Maybe I should go back to episode 1, but she doesn't look older to me how she was from the start of the show. And likewise with Zenith. And like with Roxy, well, you know, different age span in general, you could have pointed to that. Same thing with Elena Least, like she's an elf, you know, you never know with those kind of characters. But yeah, that's just it's kind of hard to tell at that point.
必要ありません。ルーデウス様、差し出がましいとは思いますが、少しだけ失礼な物言いを許していただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
It's better if you're less formal.
あなたは自分のやるべきことをなさい。
やるべきことですか？
旦那様もそうおっしゃるでしょう。奥様のお世話は私がすべきことです。
But you have a family.
そのために私は
You have people to care for too.
帰りましょう。家族のところへ。
Go home so you can grieve together. Don't grieve on your own. You will have people to grieve with you and share the pain in. And as fucked up as it is, that'll make it easier. Oh wow. Oh god. It all just kind of feels mundane now, doesn't it? This is gonna be the most gut-wrenching, like, pit-in-your-stomach journey of your life. Got a few cool toys and all that from this journey, but other than that, no. And not only did you lose Paul, but the kids, Norn and Aisha, are gonna have a mother that doesn't even know them. That's almost a vegetable right now. This is gonna be one hella despairful reunion. This would just be called a reunion of despair. That'd be a good episode title. She really thinks they're together now. And maybe they are, but we need confirmation.
俺はロキシーが大好きだ。
Obvious.
シルフィーとは多少ベクトルの違う好きだが、どっちがと聞かれても答えられない。
Well, that's not
だから
good.
揺れている。シルフィーが好きで、ロキシーも好きなこの状況に。
Maybe you shouldn't pick.
だが、
Maybe it's better to
俺
not
は
make
シ
it
ル
a
フィーにミサ
competition.
を立てると誓った。それを裏切るわけにはいかない。
You already did! It's too late to say that!
実は俺もう結婚していて、もうすぐ子供も生まれるんです。だからあまり恋人みたいな感じは申し訳ないんですけど。
知っています。パウロさんが亡くなってみんなでルディを心配している時、エリナリーゼさんから聞きましたから。
Well, I have smeg on my face now. Forget what I said defending Roxy then. I retract my statement.
じゃあなぜ？
ルディが気に病むことはありません。私はルディが弱っているところに。
And you are saying that with pride.
私がやったことなのです。本来なら私みたいなのを相手にしてくれないのは分かっています。
Do you not remember how Rudy was back in the day?
安心してください。私がルディの左手となるのはこの旅の間だけです。ルディはあちらに戻ったら奥さんを大事にしてあげてください。
せめて何か
So you
恩返しをさせて
intentionally cheated and made him a cheater on his wife.
はい。俺にできること
You
なら
are
何でもします。
not any morally superior than I thought you were, Roxy.
じゃあその
Fuck.
言い訳を聞いてもらってもいいですか？
言い訳ですか？
聞くだけでいいですから。
はい、わかりました。
私一目惚れだったんですよ。
誰にですか？
Idiot.
ルディにです。
Fucking
迷宮
idiot.
で助けてもらった時にですよ。
俺に？
あの場面では私でなくてもドキッとしてしまいますよ。私の理想そのままでした。迷宮を探索している時もルディの顔ばっかり見ていました。
The signs were there. I even pointed some of them out.
それはだって恥ずかしいじゃないですか。ダメだとは思っていたんです。エリナリーゼさんやギースさんもルディなら自力で立ち直るって言ってました。けどブエナ村で暮らしていた頃を思い出して。
You saw him struggle in ways no one else kind of has.
いや、もちろ
When he
んル
was
デ
still
ィ
fresh
に
off the
愛する
press
人
from
がいるっ
Earth.
て聞きましたし、きっとルディが落ち込んでもその人が立ち直らせてくれるんでしょう。でもその人は今ここにいないじゃないですか。なら誰かが助けてあげないとってそう思うじゃないですか。でもエリナリーゼさんもギースさんも放っておくつもりで、リーリャさんはゼニスさんにつきっきりで手が離せなくて、じゃあ私がするしかって思うじゃないですか。
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you still went about it in a very sus way.
好きなんですもん。
And, you know,
ですよ。あんまりですよ。
he's always loved you, long before he even met Sylphie. Or Eris, you know?
なんですか。
You know, like, all three of them are, like, his first in different ways, you know? Eris was his first physical lover. You know, Sylphie was the first, like, wife, and Roxy was his first affectionate, you know, his first love that he fell in love with, you know? All three of them serve different purposes in his life, and that's just how it's going with, you know, in Mushoku. And we'll see where that goes.
この旅の間だけでも。
それでどうするんだ。何の解決にもなっていない。俺のためにもロキシーのためにも。
やめてください。そういうのは何もする必要はありません。
わかりました。
I don't think we're gonna leave Roxy again, though. Right? Like, I don't think they're gonna part ways again. Like, I feel like she's gonna stay and be the next wife, but I don't know. I don't know. How's he gonna do this? How much fucking baggage is he bringing home? Like, genuinely. Oh, that's weird. Why'd he do
ルディ
that?
ここは
シャリアの近くにある森です。
信じられん。本当に北方大地まで来たのか。
I guess he promised Nanohoshi to never reveal it to anyone else. Than was necessary.
他言無用でお願いしますね。
あいよ。
では、俺とエリナリーゼさんで先導します。
So, Grandma,
ルーデウス、
はい。
what do we
あ
do?
なたミリス京都ではありませんでしたわよね。
違います。
シルフィもミリス京都ではありませんわね。
ええ、そのはずです。
私のクリフは敬虔なミリス京都ですわ。
Oh yeah, you two were getting married when you came
知っ
back.
てます？ミリス京都というのは妻を一人しかめとってはいけないという決まりがあるんですのよ。
Fair?
その妻を生涯かけて愛しなさいという。
So basically saying Sylphie will be okay with this.
実際に愛される側に回ってみると心地よい教えですわね。けれどルーデウス、私は別に複数の相手を同時に愛することが悪いとは思いませんのよ。
But is that a common belief outside of this religion?
さっきから何が言いたいんですか？
ルーデウス、ロキシーをめとりなさいな。
And keep in mind, he's married to her granddaughter already.
私が言いますわ。私でないと言えませんもの。正直、今のロキシーは見ていられませんわ。あの子、本当はあなたに甘えたいのに身を引くつもりですのよ。自分の会うタイミングが悪かったというだけで。私、控えめでもいいから。 ロキシーには幸せになってほしい
Really adds more to it when you realize that was always how she envisioned meeting her lover.
どうしたいんですの？
幸せになってほしいですよ。できることなら俺がロキシーもシルフィーも幸せにしたい。でも
虫のいい話だ。シルフィーと結婚して子供まで作って、それでいて別
Like
の
I
女も
said,
欲
man,
しいの。
you might actually have another kid on the way
俺
before
は
this
今まで
one's even
散々パウ
born.
ロをクズだと言ってきておいて、あいつと同じようなことをしたいと考えている。
思い出して
You're
ごら
both
んなさい。
scumbags in your own way.
パウロがリーリアをめとった後、ゼニスは不幸になりましたか？
Nearly! She genuinely nearly did. If it wasn't for Rudy, she would have that would have been it for her. Once she found out Aisha and Paul banged, she almost kicked Lilia out, I think.
最初母さんは泣いていましたけどね。
それくらいは仕方ありませんわ。あなたならできますわ。シルフィーとロキシーを同じぐらい愛することが。パウロの息子ですもの。それぐらいの解消があるはずですわよ。
二人が好きだという気持ちに偽りはない。だが旅先でこんなことになってシルフィーに幻滅されるだろう。
It's Sylphie.
ロキシーだって
I don't
自
know.
分だけを愛してほしいかもしれない。二人に見放されてまた一人になるかもしれない。それでも俺は二人を幸せにしたい。
でも俺がそうしたいからといって師匠とシルフィーがイエスと言ってくれるかどうかはまた別の話でしょ。
じゃあ今ロキシーに聞いちゃいなさいな。
Without Sylphie's approval, you are making some very sus choices today. But let's see how it goes. It's not like I didn't expect this anyway.
話というのは何でしょうか？
師匠にお話ししたいこと
Will
が
this
あ
be
り
a
ました。
bigger wedding than the last one?
はい。
師匠の教えに何度も助けられました。俺は師匠がいたからここまで生きてこられました。それでですね、俺にはもう妻がいます。 シルフィエット・グレイラットという名前なのですが。
はい、お聞きしました。
何が言いたいんだ俺は。
You're just trying to get the words out, bro.
その妻はもともとは名字がなくてただのシルフィエットだったんです。
Really?
はい、そう聞いています。
Did she not?
そういうことじゃ
She
ない
had a
だろ。
family in the village. We just never learned it, I don't think. I guess by proxy, you never learned it either.
もういい。後になってああしておけばというぐらいなら俺はクズでいい。
師匠もロキシー・グレイラットに名前を変えるつもりはありませんか？
Wow. That's the most roundabout way of saying it.
愛しています。
There it is. It took a moment, but there it is. I love how she lagged behind
そう
so
言ってくださ
badly.
るのはとてもありがたいです。でも奥さんの了承は取らなくてもいいんです
Yeah,
か？
yeah, at the very
取らな
least,
きゃいけない
do
です。
that.
ではその後でもう一度聞かせてください。
That's basically a yes. Though if she said no, I would laugh my ass off.
はい。
To the ends of the earth, I would just be hysterical if she did that and said no. In more ways than one, let's go home. Yeah. It makes sense we're not using the intro anymore because it's pretty outdated now. You know, all the scenes that have been relevant to it have happened. And, yeah. I appreciate it, obviously, in shows where they just use that time for more footage. Which is what Mushoku does a lot. At least in Season 1. It's very unfortunate. It genuinely is. But unfortunately, Paul is long gone at this point. You know, regarding this kid of theirs, I wonder if it took Sylphie's genetics, would it have green hair or white hair? You know, if it had her hair color and it's not a blonde, would this kid have green or white? I mean, you know, Elaine Lisa's a blonde as well, so I'm assuming there's stronger genetic for that. But not sure. I like the red eyes though, so red eyes would be pretty peak. Because so far, like, all the grey rats have emerald eyes, so, you know, that's a very strong trait, it seems, that none of them have Zenith's eye color. But, you know, we'll see about that. I guess this kid, I don't want to assume this kid is going to be born, and we'll just do, like, a 8-7 month time skip, right at the end of the season or not. But, maybe at the start of Season 3 we'll get that. So yeah, I imagine, you know, opinions are very swayed on this episode, you know, like, I can't imagine getting to this point in Mushoku Tensei and not, like, being under the assumption at this point that, like, Roxy was going to be a wife. You know, to me it was just so obvious, you know, like, you know, I wasn't sure about Sylphie in Season 1, but I was pretty sure, you know, it would have been at least Eris and Roxy, mainly because I kept forgetting about Sylphie in Season 1. But I always knew Roxy was going to come up again in the future, and now we're at that point. You know, now I did try to defend things in the first part, so because it seemed, you know, a lot different, but getting Roxy's viewpoint on it was more interesting. It wasn't as cut and dry as just, it wasn't as cut and dry as just kind of as her trying to snap Rudy away from Sylphie or anything like that. It was more so just, you know, he doesn't have the comfort of his wife right now, and so I'll fill that gap. I'll fill that moment. You know, like, a wife is meant to hold their man on, like, his deepest, darkest moments of his life, and right now, where he's going through that despair, Sylphie isn't here, so I'll fill that role for the moment, you know, until he gets back to Sylphie. That was kinda, I think, Roxy's intention at this point. But, obviously, you know, not quite that good. I definitely do appreciate, though, how, you know, they don't have to go down this hole. They don't have to acknowledge this as being a problem, given the kind of world Mushoku Tensei is, you know, and obviously the kind of moral system that Rudy had going into this world anyway. They didn't have to acknowledge these kind of things, but I do appreciate the fact that they do take the time to do it anyway. You know, despite how messed up Rudy was, you know, in his old life, like, this show is about his redemption. It is about him becoming, you know, more of a level-headed, you know, genuine person. And because of that, like, this is genuinely a conundrum for him. He's always, you know, like I said, Roxy has been his first, like, pretty much ever, you know, in his old life. He was built up as such a loser that he had no love interest, no girlfriend or anything in his life. I don't even know if he had a crush in his old life, you know. But Roxy, it seems like, has filled that role for everything, you know. She was his first crush, she was his first kind of genuine person that he fell in love with, and, you know, it's always been that way, and so you just kind of have to think that, like, yeah, this would happen at some point, and vice versa. Now it seems like Rudy was that for Roxy, as the minute that that he saved her in that labyrinth, she fell for him instantly. So they're both each other's first, and, you know, that's just something that isn't really the same case with Sylphie. You know, they, like I said, all three of them share different roles in Rudy's first in terms of, you know, love and whatnot, and it's interesting in that regard. But like I said, it is interesting to see these dilemmas. Obviously, Roxy doesn't want to steal Sylphie yet away, or she doesn't want to steal Rudy from Sylphie yet. She still has her own internal turmoil with what she's done here, which is at least something, you know. Like I said, they didn't have to do this. They could have made this a lot more selfish, and even then, you know, I understand there's no excuse in what Roxy technically did, but it's not as cut and dry as she doesn't feel any kind of guilt from this, you know. And like I said, I went into my reasons for why I don't feel like this is going to be a big problem, as it seems like in this world, certain religions are the only reason that, you know, you don't take on second wives. Obviously, the Grey Rat family in general holds some nobility to it, so that might add onto it that some of the Grey Rats might have multiple wives and whatnot. And obviously, Sylphie specifically isn't a unique case where, even if that is the case of most people look down on having multiple wives and going poly, she has grown up with, you know, she's literally grown up with Rudy's family and seen that, like, his dad, you know, had 2 wives. So, like, she might have already expected that Rudy would try and go for a second wife at some point anyway, and prepared for this moment, right? So, it is interesting. Definitely interesting to think about that, and it's for that kind of reason I feel like this is probably going to go okay. You know, I appreciate at the very least that Roxy didn't give her answer until knowing that Sylphie was on board with it. If not, I don't doubt she would leave and be like, you know, sorry, goodbye, and whatnot, and then, you know, that's the conundrum to lead into, you know, like, Sylphie, that's kind of Rudy and Sylphie's conundrum to lead into their problems. But, yeah, you know, it's very interesting, but it is cool. I do appreciate that we did spend an entire episode on this, because, like I said, this has been built up. You know, I never for a moment in the show thought that, like, he wouldn't get with Roxy. That was always on my mind. And I do appreciate that Mushoku, again, does give its time, you know, at least the anime does give its time to what is really important. And, you know, this show is about the journey and life of Rudy, you know, and this is a significant part of his journey, is, you know, because this is literally, like, life-changing. This is going to alter his family dynamic forever, so I really appreciate that we are spending the time to go over the positives as well as, like, the awkward negatives that are going to come from this, as, you know, once this happens, we'll be with Roxy forever, and we'll see what happens there, and then the family tree is going to expand, and we'll see where that goes, and then, oh, that's going to make Eris's encounter all the sweeter, because we know that, she is still under the assumption that Rudy is waiting for her. She is still under the assumption that her letter was enough to get her meaning across well. And she still assumes that, like, Rudy is waiting for her to get stronger. And, you know, she's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, I have 2 fucking wives. Not even that. I have at least 1 kid. that very well can become 2, and he's gonna literally go down, you know, he's gonna literally go down, fucking, Paul's route of having, like, you know, one girl pregnant, get the other one pregnant around the same time, and it's like, you know, like, Roxy and Rudy's kid will be born, like, a couple of months after Sylphie and Rudy's, you know, maybe we're going down that route, but, we'll see, But yeah, like I said, as a viewer and whatnot, and as someone who was a big fan of Roxy in the time that we had with her at the start of Season 1, or just the show in general, it is nice, like I said, to finally have her back, so they really did build this up quite well. And I do want to see Rudy get with Roxy, you know, because that's a ship I ship, you know. But we'll see. This next episode is so much baggage, I can't even believe it. Like, genuinely. Paul's death, Zenith's return, and she doesn't remember any of them. Everyone's reaction, like the kids, Sylphie, you know, like they all grew up with Paul in their own sense. Like Roxy, introducing Roxy as the next lover and the next wife. Like, there is so much to cover in this next episode. I almost feel like we might as well just do a double-length episode, you know? Like, there is so much to this. It's actually crazy how far we're gonna go with this. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna do my cut, and we're gonna watch the season finale of Mushoku Tensei. I am looking forward to this. I hope you are too. I'll see you in a moment. Well, guys, here we are. A single episode left of Mushoku Tensei for now. Episode 24 of the second season. It's been a long time coming. So let's do this. And we're finally home.
Rudy!
なんだそんなに奥さんに会いたいかね
Why? That got a reaction.
なんでもっと早く気づかなかったんだ
The other, you'll regret it.
パウロは死んだだがそれは後悔ではなく悲しみだベガリット大陸に行って帰ってくるその間君は自分の奥さんを一人にするの
What happened? That's a fair point. Also, their reaction to the arm, I always forget about the arm now. But yeah, that thing's still soaking in blood. What was that little warning about, Man God? We get a name for the Man God? I feel weird calling you Man God. Huh. How strange. Have they just been chilling with Ariel? Kind of living in the old quarters, you know? It's kind of a empty house without you, you know, it's very big. Oh, Aisha. Yeah. That's a problem. She's fine. Just, you know, doing stuffs. Oh wow, you can really see it now. You can see that bump quite well. Also, her hair! Damn, it even processed! Wait, how long has it been again? I don't think it's been that long, but her hair has doubled in length. God damn. Was he bullshitting you? Was he gaslighting you? Yeah. You can't even give a full hug now with that stump. Yeah. And like I said, Roxy never met Sylphie. So this is gonna be awkward! Where's the kids? Everyone's at the table. There they are. Hold the congrats until after. You're never gonna see your daddy again. Never gonna happen.
全員揃ったので話をしよ
兄さん、
That's what we need to
お
talk
父さ
about.
んは
Yeah, that's bad. He didn't make
う。父
it.
さんはパウロ・グレーラットは
He didn't make it.
死亡した。
Yeah. You gonna comfort your daughter, Lilia, at all? Yeah, that's much bigger a hit on her than it is Rudy. And honestly, even Aisha, because she spent far more time with Paul than Aisha did. Not to invalidate her feelings
これ
either.
が遺品だ。そしてこれが
His ashes.
兄さんが言ったのに
Yeah. You knew the blaming was coming.
ごめん。俺の力不足だ。
And a stump too.
兄さん
I'm not even fully sure how he lost his hand, to be honest.
これから詳しく
I guess he crushed it when he stuck his hand in the Hydra's eye and, like, spiked it up. It's crazy how Aisha is the one who's comforting Norn. Well, she's also grieving.
じゃあお父さんは助からず、お母さんも記憶が
Yeah.
そうだ。
It's not a victory by any means, but
兄さんも
we're back.
頑張ったんですよね。
全力を尽くしたつもりだ。
なら兄さんが頑張ってもダメだったんだろう。誰がいても
Honestly, yeah, I can't think of a solution in which Paul would have got out of this one alive.
どうしてもダメで
His tale had to end there.
死んじゃって
I know it's big that we're giving this to Norn, but Sylphie as well, she also lost him. And she grew up with him.
「兄さん、その剣、私が持っていてもいいですか？
You're gonna become a warrior in your daddy's name?
ああ、
Aw.
そうだな。ノルンが持ってろ。でもむやみに使おうとするなよ。剣を持つということは、心の中にも一本の剣を持っておく必要があるんだ。大切なものを守るには。
Are these exact words he recited to Rudy? I'm assuming those reactions, yeah, he said that
その
dialogue.
剣を持っているからといって、自分が強くなったと勘違いしちゃいけないからな。
わかりました。
That's a big blade. Any memories coming back? Any sense of familiarity? No, those are hers now.
奥様、
That's okay though. That's okay. That's the most you've gotten, and that means there is still some stuff in that mind of hers. It's a mere glimpse right now, but
治らないの。
obviously in these kind of situations when the mind is that messed up, familiar items can trigger some reactions.
身の回りの世話なんかについてはリーリャさんに一任するつもりだ。けどみんなには細かいところで迷惑をかけると思う。
わかった。僕も頑張るよ。
You really need to hire some more maids,
ということは
honestly.
お母様もここで暮らすんですか？
はい。ルーデウス様のお世話になるつもりです。
仕事の
I guess that
分
helps.
担とかはするんでしょうか？
それは後で話しましょう。
はい。
Do you want to be Rudy's personal maid?
アイシャ、
I assume.
私たちに遠慮することないよ。
You need comfort just as much as Norn does. Exactly. I'm glad that they're giving fair grievance to both Aisha and Norn.
アイシャ。
さて、じゃあ俺らは宿でも探すとすっか。
今夜くらいうちに泊まっていた
Honestly,
だ
this
ければ
house is big, guys.
先輩。
It's too big.
バカってんじゃねえよ。家族水入らずを邪魔するほど俺らは野暮じゃねえんだよ。
No, really, we wouldn't even notice you. This house is a mansion.
長い間父さんを手伝っていただきありがとうございました。
私た
Just
ち
saying.
こそあまり役立てず申し訳ありません。まだ町にはいるので、団長のお墓ができたら場所だけでも教えてください。
ベラさん、シェラさん。
そんな新規成果をすんなよ先輩。
お主に礼を言われる筋合いはない。言われるならパウロからじゃな。
キーさん、タルハンドさん。
Hopefully, we'll see you guys again
らしく
someday.
ねえぜ。いつも通りおい新入りとでも言ってくれよ。
You guys are good.
なんでそこまで新入りにこだわるんですか。
ジンクスだよ。
まったく男どもはすぐにカッコつけたがりますわ。さて、私はクリフのところに行きます。
Yeah, my groins are a little
お
itchy.
世話になりました。
パウロのことすみませんでしたわ。
いえ、あれは俺の。
あのパーティーの私の役割はああならないように立ち回ることでしたのよ。パウロが死んだのは私のミスでもありますわ。
Fair
俺は
enough.
責めませんよ。誰もね。
なら自分も責めたらダメですわよ。
はい。
Those fucking flicks of hair, man.
シル
Oh,
フィー、
everyone has it. So
ルーデス
distracting.
はあなたのことを愛していますわ。
But you're not his only love. You know, just a word to prepare you for
じゃあまたな。
a very difficult discussion. Because the drama's not over yet. Not even close.
シルフィー、
You notice how someone isn't going with them?
大事な話がある。
Someone right behind you? This is Roxy. I might have told you about her once or a couple of thousand times.
聞くよ。
Really? Aisha and Norn in the room with this? Okay. That... weren't expecting that. So, could I have another wife?
俺はここにいるロキシーを二人目の妻として迎えようと思っている。
Oh.
どういうこと？
That was
妻が
great!
死んで悲しくて辛くてもう生きることさえどうでもよくなって、そんな時に助けてくれたのがロキシーなんだ。
She basically did the same thing you did. Pulled him out of an absurd
ごめ
depression.
んシルフィー、ミサを立てるって言ったのに約束守れなかった。
お兄ちゃん。
シ
Yeah.
ルフィー、許してほしい。
Oh my god, that
許せるわけない
that's
で
an
すよ。
interesting face.
シルフィー姉さんがどんな気持ちで兄さんを待っていたか知ってて言ってるんですか？
Come on, you just got in Norn's good
レディは大
graces.
丈夫かな？レディに会いたいね。レディも今頃ご飯食べてるかなって。
And now
そうにしてたシルフィー姉さんが
she's reacting more than Sylphie
言
is.
ってるんですか？父さんを助けられなかったのはしょうがないって思いました。左手も失ってそれぐらい厳しかったんだからしょうがないって。
Interesting, that was the main reason. Damn. And we know how opposed to violence Norn is, so this is crazy.
違う、そんな余裕はなかった。ロキシーはそんな俺を自分の気持ちを捨てて助けてくれたんだ。
シルフィー姉さんだってその場にいれば兄さんを助けた
Oh, we don't doubt that.
お前だってわかるだろ。部屋に閉じこもって自分じゃどうしようもないと思った時の気持ちは。
Yep.
そこで助けてくれた人をどうしてないがしろにできるんだ。
わかるけど兄さんには感謝してますけどそれとこれとは関係ありません。二人も妻をめと
And
らない
bro's hit rock bottom multiple times in this world.
それになんでこんな小さい子なんですか？
Interesting, you follow that religion too?
私とそんな変わらないぐらいじゃないですか。 小さいかもしれませんが、これでも成人です。
Yeah, she's what?
成人ならずっ
What
と
is she,
いいと
like
か思わない
50
んです
now?
か？ずかずかと入り込んできて悪いと思わないんですか？
ノルン言い過ぎだ。ロキシーを妻に迎えるって言い出したのは俺なんだ。悪いのは俺で、ロキシーは悪くない。彼女は身を引こうとしてくれたんだ。
兄さんは黙っていてください。
Oof.
大体身を引こうとしたのなら、なんで最後までそうしようとしないんですか？結局兄さんの言葉に甘えただけでしょ。そうですね。ずうずうしいです。
God, and again, like, Sylphie is not saying a word right now.
反対されることは分かっていた。だがロキシーに嫌な
Didn't
思
think
い
it'd be
をさせた
that
まま
much from Norn
ここ
though.
を去られるわけにはいかない。
Aisha and Sylphie
彼
haven't
女を
even
幸
said
せ
a
に
word
するって
yet.
決めたのにどうすればいい？どうすれば？
待って。
There she is. She looks good with long hair. I even sprouted it up, but yeah, she does look good with the long hair.
ロキシーさん、
Good thing she grew it
待っ
out.
てください。なんで引き止めるんですか、シルフィーネ。行かせればいいじゃないですか。ごめんね、ノルンちゃん。僕のために。でも大丈夫だから。ありがとう。
Do you accept this
ちょ
proposal?
っと混乱してたけど、ロキシーさんはルディを助けてくれたんだよね。
Pulled him out of his darkest
はい
once again.
でも下心も
That
あり
is
ま
something
し
you
たの
two
で、
share.
言い訳に使うつもりはありません。下心なしでって言われても逆に信じられないよ。僕がロキシーさんの立場でもやっぱり同じことをしちゃうと思う。
Really?
正直ね、僕は時間の問題だと思ってたんだ。ルディが別の女の人を連れてくるの。
She's not oblivious to how the Grey
ほら
Rat family
ルディってエッ
acts.
チでしょ。僕とできないときっと誰かとしちゃうだろうなって思ってたんだ。
He tried.
それに
With Elena
ルデ
Lease
ィを見
many
る顔で
times.
すぐに分かったよ。そっか、僕もあんな顔だったのかな。
Wow.
すみません、不快なものを見せてしまって。不快じゃなかったよ。なんて言えばいいかな。あのね、ロキシーさんのことは
Oh,
ルディ
yeah.
からいつも聞いてたんだ。なんと
Literally, like, if there was
俺の尊敬
anyone,
する魔術師はあの人だけだって。
genuinely, if there was any person on this planet that Sylphie could accept the most, it would honestly be Roxy, you know? So in her own mind, she probably was, like, you know, she was probably mentally preparing for this day for a long time, because, you know, like I said, like, Sylphie is the most... She is the most familiar with how the Grey Rat family acts. She knows how Paul acts, you know. She's been around even Luke for this long, you know. We don't know much about Luke, but he's probably a horn dog too in his own way. You know, and like Rudy, you know, she knows this, so that's what I'm saying. Like she is grown up knowing how the Grey Rat family acts, you know. But she also knows that regardless of the answer, he's always gonna love her too, so, you know. Eris aside for now, I feel like if there was anyone she could ever accept, it would be Roxy, because bro never shuts up about her. Also, my god, she towers over Roxy here. Jesus Christ. I need to see Sylphie and Rudy side by side. Is Rudy just short for his age, or is Sylphie unnaturally tall for a girl? I don't remember.
それはなんというか恐縮です。だからちょっと嫉妬してるところもあったんだ。本当にすごい人なんだろうなって。でも実際に見てルディが好きなだけの普通の女の子なんだって思ったら、
Wow.
嫉妬なんて消えちゃったんだ。だって僕と一緒だもん。
You're no threat.
ノルンちゃんはああ言ったけど、僕は歓迎します。
Well, there you go.
一緒にルディを支えていこう。ありがとうございます。
Well, looks like any debate is over now. I don't think Aisha cares either way, but he is Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I thought normal slapping some cheeks right there.
ノルン、稽古なんだからそんな乱暴に。
Oh no.
ノルンちゃん、 ルディはミリス教徒じゃないんだから許してあげて。でも
You can't
さんだっ
object.
て奥さんが2人いたんだよ。
Yeah, literally. You grew up with that.
確かにそうですけど、ノルンちゃん、リーディアさんにもそう言うの？
And I know you follow the religion, but you're a grey rat. So I can't say you won't have two husbands someday.
おいしょ。いいよ別に。ノルン姉がよく考えずに物言ってるの知ってるから。何その言い方。
And genuinely, Aisa could not give less of a shit about this at all.
まさかノルンが剣術を習いたいなんてね。
She's got her daddy's
でも
spirit.
気持ちはちょっとわかるかな。大切な人が遠くで戦っているのに自分は待っているだけなんて辛いからさ。シルフィー、予定日はいつなんですか？あと1ヶ月ちょっとかな。
Alright, we had our time skip.
でもロキシー、本当にいいの？結婚するのをそれまで待つ必要なんてないよ。
Ah,
いえ、正直シルフィーには申し訳ない気持ちが大きいので出産まで待たせてください。正式な妻になるのはその後で。
fair enough.
そっか、ロキシーがそう言うなら。
So right now you've got your wife and your girlfriend.
赤ちゃん楽しみですね。早く
How
会い
far
たい
we've
な。
progressed in one season, man. 2 wives, a kid, a loving family, a home, adorable little sisters, you know, your mum's back, your other mother's back, you know. God damn. So much progress. Oh no, they're fucking like all chummy together. What the hell?
シルフィー、
Didn't take long in the end, did it, Norn?
おめでとうございます、シルフィエット様。
If this kid's a reincarnate, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh fuck no.
よかった。
お疲れ様。
おめでとうございます、シルフィエット様。
Pretty much almost exactly like it was the first time.
髪緑じゃなくて。
Oh, that's a shame.
ルディも抱いてあげて。
I guess that blonde really is strong in this family. And much like last time, Lilia takes care of the baby.
ルディの子だよ。
俺の
You're a fucking dad.
この子がシルフィーが産んでくれた俺の子供。
Hey, the ruby eyes, nice. First grey rat child we've seen without the green, at least from this branch of the family. Obviously, Eris. You're a changed man now, for certain.
パウロ、父さん、久しぶり。
Oh my god, you're gonna pour some booze on his grave.
女の子だ。
A girl.
シルフィーの子供だし、きっと美人になるよ。父さんにも見せたかったな。父さんは死んじゃったけど、子供は生まれたよ。
You saved
あの時
your
俺を生かして
grandkid's
くれた
dad,
か
you
ら
know?、
俺は今子供を抱くことができるんだ。
Yep.
父さんがいなかったら、俺は。名前はルーシーに決めた。
Lucy.
ルーシー・グレイラット。
Nice.
俺とシルフィーの頭文字を取ったんだ。それからロキシー師匠を妻にしたんだ。
Oh, we're just skipping that?
父さんと一緒だな。こういう時の心構えとか教えてほしかったよ。父さんはギレーヌとかエリナリーゼと結婚しようって考えたりしたのか。
Many, many times, I'm sure.
でも父さんだからな、あんまり考えてなさそう。俺もあんまり難しく考えない方がいいのかな。
It's got you this far in life.
父さん、俺ダメな息子だったよ。前世の記憶とか持っててさ、ちゃんと息子として父さんと向き合えていなかった。
He's actually openly talking about the past life, you know?
けど今はもうパウロ・グレイラットの息子のつもりだから。
Nice. It is unfortunate that you only really realized that after it was too
自
late,
分がま
but
だまだ子供だったっ
it is what
て。
it is.
前世の記憶で大人ぶってただけのガキだって。 子供も生まれて親にもなったし、すぐに大人にならなくちゃとは思うけど、きっともっとたくさん失敗して、いっぱい悩みながら、少しずつゆっくり変わっていかなきゃ大人にはなれないんだろうな。父さんもそうだったんだろう。
This is honestly great. I'm really liking this scene.
俺、頑張れよ。
Work hard for this
父さ
family,
んがそう
Rudy.
してくれたみたいに、父さんが残してくれたものを守るよ。じゃあ、また来る。
Keep watching over us, man. And whatever you do, don't look at my old life. It's so cringe. So cringe.
そばにいるよそばにいるよ時が経ちる
Very nice.
いろんなことに一段落がついた。辛いこともあったし。
Characters we haven't seen in a little while. People whose life we've changed. What the hell? What the hell? These two are moving on together? Eris! What the
終わ
hell?
りじゃない。
Oh man, that little preview of
ま
Eris.
だまだこの世界で生きていく。いつ死んでも後悔しないように。
Don't you dare be dying anytime
本気で。
soon. That is a beautiful shot. This is the family, man. Succession. Very nice. Oh man. I think that's a redraw of a shot from season 1, actually. God. Yeah. That's a nice goal to have, honestly. Live without regret, you know. There's a lot of things life is going to push at you, but there's a lot of things that, you know, you're going to regret if you don't go for it. And regardless of if you make it or not, you know, you do things one way or you end up succeeding or failing, you won't ever know until you try. And in certain regards, I think that failure is the better outcome than, you know, avoiding failure by not doing anything, because then you're always left in an eternal state of wondering if what you did was the right choice or not. And sometimes those thoughts can linger, and it's definitely probably a long-term worse solution than just dealing with the failure and picking up from that and, you know, growing from that. And I really like that is a point of Mushoku Tensei, is that, you know, regardless of your mental space, regardless of the preparations you take in life, regardless of, you know, how much you work towards doing things without regret, life does not work like that. Be it Earth or be it this new world, you know. If you do get second chances, you know, life is always going to throw things at you you just realistically can't deal with, and it's about fixing those, and it's about, you know, coming to peace with those decisions. Like Rudy here, his choices, you know, he, as he said, he really thought that he was doing things right in this world. You know, he really thought that he was making every right choice that he could. There were some hurdles along the way, of course, but up to this point, he felt like he was relatively satisfied with how things have went. And then Paul's situation happened, and he hit a state of not realizing what he had before he lost it, where, you know, he truly regretted how, you know, how much he and Paul hadn't really connected. He regretted how little time they'd spent together, and he regretted just how he didn't see himself as his son. Which is understandable, given, you know, his mental state as an adult, and the fact that he really does see... he kind of sees his own parents as kind of kids compared to himself, because he is literally older than they are, you know? So it's perfectly understandable where these situations and these mental spaces for him come from, but even still, you know, it is an unfortunate case of not really dealing with that stuff, you know? And all of the baggage that Rudy, you know, lived in his old life, he is reliving some of that in this one, but he's also learning to move on from those points in his life where he couldn't actually, you know, do any of that stuff, which is nice to see. You know, this is definitely something that he regrets, but not being there for Paul and not really making a connection to him is something that he is now starting to accept and move on and heal from, you know, and he is still, because of that, on the, he is still on the path of living a full life and in the end dying without any regrets in it, which is really cool to see. But you know, that was great. It really is cool that Mushoku does dedicate a lot of its time to a character that narratively is important to the cast, but as just general spectators and an audience, we didn't really see too much of. But a lot of what we did see with Paul Girat was pretty powerful and was really great, you know, from the way that he'd handled Rudy in the beginning of the show when he was born, you know, tried to be a father figure and failed, but kept moving forward from it. Obviously, to when we got to, you know, the insane reunion in like episode 16 and 17 of season 1 and how that was an absolute dumpster fuck, but they ended up making up for it, you know, and Rudy started to gain more affection towards Paul for that, to points like this, you know, where literally Paul just, he gave up his life so that, you know, the kids in the future will grow up with a daddy. And, well, obviously he is a dad in himself to a pair of young children. You know, in the end he knew that Rudy would be taking care of them as much as he would his own kids, and so in the end it was worth losing his own life to make sure that Rudy has his, and you know, all those people that he's made connections to don't lose him. In the end, that was a worthy exchange on top of just being, you know, a dad instinctively looking out for his kid. So Paul did die a hero in the end. He did die a respectable man, and obviously not many people in life really have any grievances towards him. So in the end, it is good. He did die, you know, a good guy for that. But yeah, that was Mushoku Tensei. I definitely will say that while I have done a lot of isekai on the channel for this one, this show in particular, given how it handles pacing and given how the copious amounts of you know, time skips and flashbacks that we actually see, it's reached a level of the story in this that I haven't really seen in any other isekai, you know, because a lot of them do take their time to really, you know, flesh out what's going on. We don't time skip a lot, we don't really, you know, hyper focus on things, but this one definitely has that situation of really being, you know, a series where we are living life through one character, and we are already seeing the stages that is a very realistic approach in life, you know, despite the power fantasy, despite how, you know, a lot of this does play a lot of isekai tropes. We are seeing just generally how a man who was almost seen as irredeemable, a complete degenerate, go through his life in a much better scenario, and we are seeing these situations that are just very realistic and very relatable, you know, impact. Like, now Rudy has a kid. Never seen an isekai character reach that point, you know. He is married. He has two wives. You know, like, it's all coming down there, and just the progress that we made in one season to that, you know, it's pretty great to go from just, you know, episode 1, hyper-depressed Rudy, having nothing really, to this point, you know, where the family is growing, everything's going well. It is really interesting to see, and I'm curious just how we're going to expand on this, you know. And if Mushoku does keep up its consistent points of, like, just time skipping, I mean, we might even get fleshed out moments with this Lucy girl. You know, we might actually get that, and any future children that we'll have with, you know, with Roxy, and I'd be really interested in that. Especially if you wanted to, like, split the MC role at that point, you know? Because something to consider right now is that while it didn't happen with Aisha or Norn, it's possible that Lucy's a reincarnate, maybe? I mean, we still don't know the reasons why Rudy reincarnated, you know, so it might be possible that happens again, you know, with Lucy, and we'll see that. Or maybe not Lucy, maybe one of his other children, you know, and we'll see what's going on with that. Because right now we just have Nanahoshi, we just have Rudy, but presumably there are others out there in the same situation. At the very least, the two people that Nanahoshi are looking for could be out there, and, you know, that's just literally the tip of the iceberg. Like, there could be a whole plethora of reincarnates that we don't know about. I'd assume not, because we don't have too much, like, influence from Earth approaching this world like we do have with Nanahoshi, but you never know, honestly. You don't know. It is something to genuinely think about in the future, you know. But it is really good. Like I said, I do like how we focus on a lot of the relationships in this show. We even got a bit of the end there, you know. Rudy has done a lot for people in this universe because of his past experience and because he absolutely wants to make sure people do not go down the same route as him. You know, like Norn and Nanahoshi are kind of big examples of that, you know, like Norn almost went down the same route as him, being afraid of the world, rejecting the world and staying in her room. Likewise, Nanahoshi did reach that point, and not only is she now, you know, coming out of her shell, but she has, all intents and purposes, dropped that, you know, like, she still plans on going back to Earth, but she is now learning to appreciate what she has here, you know, connections, people, you know, she has literally dropped the mask, both figuratively and literally. Like, the white mask is gone now, you know, and she's smiling and she's, you know, I apologize for that, but nevertheless, we are back. But, yeah. But if I was talking about, you know, Nanahoshi and just how much Rudy has helped her, obviously, you know, how now she doesn't have the mask and all that good stuff, and generally just the kind of relationships that Mushoku Tensei does actually follow. Nanahoshi is one of the greatest instances of that, you know, a part of Rudy's past that is delved so much into trauma, but through understanding and reasoning, he's been able to help her in ways that, you know, Orsted and just everyone else in this world hasn't been able to. And like I said, Nanahoshi's, like, stuff is one of the most interesting aspects about the show, because it really ties into it, and it keeps relevant the whole isekai plotline in general, and where that's going to go, and, you know, it doesn't happen very often in isekai, but I'm wondering if through her or anything, we're genuinely going to get the reveal that, like, Rudy is not from this world, and, like, if that's a secret he no longer wants to keep from his wives or something, you know? I think that would be very interesting. You know, and the end credit stuff, like, it's like Buddy and Ruijin are traveling together now for some reason. I mean, that's quite a powerful duo. They fucking teased Eris. They actually showed Eris, who is in love with Rudy as well, and is also laced with a lot of trauma for Rudy, so that's a character, you know. I'm hoping what they were doing in the end there is showing all the relevant stuff that's going to come up early in Season 3, because I would love to see Eris. Oh, I would love to see our redhead, you know. And to keep this family, like, you know, relevant, or, sorry, to keep Eris, like, contributing to this family, you know, she could honestly be a good girl to train Norn, because, you know, this family makes up of, like, you know, the primary people are all mages, you know, Rudy, Roxy, and Sylphie. They're all literally mages, and, you know, you gotta have that strong warrior as well. So, you know, if Eris does join in, accepts that Rudy has wives, and becomes the third wife, she could train Norn, and that would be really interesting. And I don't think Norn would have half as much issue accepting Eris, because, like, she's already learned to accept Roxy at this point, you know, and that would be pretty fun, because we've basically seen here that, unlike Rudy, who obviously is his own personality, aside from, like, the Grey Rats, Norn does take, she does take very much after Paul, and it seems like now that obviously Paul is gone, she probably feels like it's her responsibility to keep the way of the sword alive in the Grey Rat family. Obviously, like, the three primary people are extremely powerful mages, but there aren't any warriors, so that could be her way of, you know, keeping the memory of not only Paul, but how Paul defended the family alive by uptaking the sword, which would be really interesting, you know. And again, given how much we saw Eris's journey of becoming a strong warrior for Rudy, she could absolutely take the apprentice and be, you know, Paul's or be Norn's master, you know, especially since her master was a party member of Paul's to begin with. So it's still kind of keeping that memory alive through both Eris and Norn, which would be really cool. That'd be really nice to see. And I do like how we actually, you know, going in more to the specifics of the episode, I do like how we actually handled the situation, you know, like Norn did not blame Rudy, despite how much faith she put in him to keep everyone alive. It's the fact that he lost his arm is what truly symbolizes to her that he did not slack. Any guilt or any blame she could put on Rudy is invalid, because the fact that he lost an arm segments to her that he really did put everything he had in that battle, and he did fight to his last breath, and that's pretty much enough for her to not blame Rudy for a Paul's end, you know. But at the same time, she still got a chance to vent, because, like, yeah, obviously, like, she is against, like, poly relationships in general, and that acted as a way of actually letting her, you know, vent out her frustrations in a manner where she could blame Rudy for. So she still got to blame Rudy for some things here, which also, the fact that she's that angry does also mean just how close they've gotten at this point, which is nice to see. But also just, you know, she needed to vent in a way where she could just let it all out, you know, because frustrations can be channeled in different ways, and that's how she got it out, you know. Whereas Aisha she doesn't need to vent like that, she just needs to be comforted, and that's where Lilia came in. On top of the fact that Aisha could not give less of a shit if bro wanted like 1,000 wives, you know. She'll still be the maid, she'll still be there to take care of everything, you know. Aisha, she's a cool sister, and you know, any path her, you know, her Oni-san takes, it's fine with her. It's fine with her, you know. Base sibling indeed, right there. But yeah, really nice to see. And by the way, like, when the birth was given and Norn is holding Roxy for comfort, you can really see the kind of effect Roxy had, because she's already accepted Roxy as part of the family, already using her as a source of comfort, which is based. So Roxy and Norn, they're good. They're good. I really hope Aisha didn't assist with the birth, because Norn was in the room and I wasn't looking if Aisha was there too. Oh god. But no. And of course, I'm not surprised that Sylphie accepted, you know, Roxy. I think it really helps, like, you know, again, she's heard of Roxy before. She has heard how much Rudy looks up to her, you know. Like, he does see her as his master. He's still calling her master, you know, and so there is that sense of familiarity, but also that sense of comfort. The fact that Rudy is already familiar with Roxy before he even met Sylphie, and he is so obsessed with Roxy, but the fact that he still chose Sylphie in the end anyway as his first wife, I think is what makes Sylphie okay with this. The fact that she doesn't see Roxy as a threat, because Rudy was already familiar with Roxy and already looked up to her, but he still chose to be with Sylphie anyway, and that, I think, is what segments that Roxy isn't a threat to her. It's the fact that he can choose her if the situation came down to it, which is, you know, fine enough. Roxy isn't a threat in that regard, and I don't think, you know, it's the same kind of reasoning with Eris as well, because there's a lot more complexities with Eris, but I think it'll be okay in the end with that as well. But, you know, that's another situation. Like, Eris, I'm not sure if she'll be as accepting of other wives with, you know, her man, but we'll see. And there is the possibility in that regard, because, you know, I don't watch too many harems, I don't see too often this happening, but I wonder if this will be a situation where, obviously, the wives love Rudy, and they're primarily here for Rudy, but is there any situation where they start loving each other as well? Like, is there any situation where Sylphie and Roxy start bonding and they start feeling like they're sparking as well, and then it becomes a case of they are truly united as an entire front? Like, it's not solely centered around Rudy now, where Roxy and Sylphie start to love each other as well. In a sense, that's a more pure sense of love, but I'm not sure if we would, I'm not sure if the show would go down that route, but it's a possibility. I don't know how far we can take this. But, yeah, either way, you know, guys, this was a great season of Mushoku Tensei. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I just love how much focus we can give to characters and really flesh out the relationship. Since this is, you know, the primary focus is literally from birth to death is the purpose of Mushoku Tensei from Rudy's perspective. It really does show the relationships that people build and they grow in this, you know, in this lifetime. And what I really like is it doesn't even have to be like centered around Rudy. It can still show relationships grow and nurture that doesn't even involve Rudy. If they're part of Rudy's life, people can grow without him in it, and we can still see that, which is really cool, and I really do appreciate, because I feel like a lot of other isekai and just shows in general, you know, like, they don't show POVs very much outside of the main character, and if they do, they're sometimes centered around the main character as the subject, you know, which is its own thing. But characters in this story do grow, they do progress, they do take their own steps in life when Rudy isn't a deciding factor, which is what I really appreciate, and really makes the story feel overall like we have more of a co-cast of characters as opposed to just a one-centered MC role. You know, we have a co-joined main character role in certain instances, which is really nice to see. And yeah, I'm really satisfied with how we've ended off Season 2 of Mushoku Tensei, and obviously, still at this point, we have a lot to actually go through. Like, you know, there's the parenthood stuff, there's, like, Eris and her whole story, which is going to be really interesting to see. There's, now that we have, Roxy as part of the cast and how she's going to be a main character going forward in Season 3, and we're going to see the dynamics and everything that she's built with this family going forward. Obviously, she's going to be a second mother to Lucy. You know, she's going to be a loving family member to everyone and a loving wife to Rudy. For all I know, she'll be pregnant when we start season 3. That's how this show fucking operates sometimes, you know. And then there's outside sources like Ruijin, how he's going to connect to Eris and make her realize the mistake that she made with Rudy, you know. There's the stuff with Nanohoshi, for God's sake. There is just so much here. There's even, like, the political stuff with, like, Ariel and how they're going to go and fight the kingdom, and, like, are Rudy and, like, Sylphie, and by extension now Roxy, are they going to be part of that? Like, there's a lot of build-up for this show still, and of course there's a shit with Orsted, like, and the man god in general and what his situation is, but he ties to Orsted anyway. Like, there's still a lot of show left, and a lot of different just storylines that connect both to Rudy's personal life, while also not doing it, and I'm really curious just how we're gonna go through this, you know. In that kind of sense, you know, like, Mushoku could last a very long time. We could still have a long time in the show left, even considering, like, the amount of time skips this show does take. We could still have a lot of show left. Like, we could be halfway through it. We could be a third way through it, for all I know. I really don't know. You know, again, given the fact that we sometimes do develop things outside of Rudy's perspective, means this could go on a lot longer than, you know, what I think. And it really is a coin flip, you know. I can't accurately predict how I think this show is going to go in that regard, but I'm really excited for it. Honestly, you know, I've done, like I said, the joke is that I've done a lot of isekai on the channel. But this might be my favourite, honestly. This very well might be. I do see some similarities in its themes of, you know, relationships and just dynamics, compared to Re:Zero, which is fun. And ironically, I still need to start Season 3 of Re:Zero. That's a Season 3 of an isekai I'm actually getting to pretty soon. I think that's actually finished now as well, which is cool. So I'm getting more Re:Zero soon as well. But, yeah, I see a lot of that in it. And Re:Zero is one of my favourite isekais as well. And Mushoku, honestly, it might even surpass it. I'm not 100% confident in saying that, but it's up there. It is up there for me, and I'm really glad that I've started this. So guys, I think I'm going to end it here. This has been my reaction series to Mushoku Tensei so far. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have no idea what I'll do next in terms of A, what the next series is going to be on the channel to replace Mushoku, but B, what next Mushoku content will come out. Will it be another OVA, or will it be Season 3? I have no idea when I'll see you guys next time for the subject of Mushoku Tensei, but I hope you've enjoyed my reaction so far, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time.